Welcome back to the Tactical Muffin Top channel, everybody. This is your host, the Tacticalist of the Muffin Tops. I'm here. I'm ready for this chat. I want to put out a little disclaimer here, but I want to wait till a few more people are in the chat. Um, this is probably going to be a long one. I want to deep dive into these topics because um, I feel compelled to get people to a certain level at a certain time frame that I think everybody needs to be there, especially for things I've been told, things trusted, things I've been heads up with by people I respect, and things like that. Um, I have changed my mindset very drastically on what I um, have thought in the way of prepping, and I am quickly trying to slingshot myself to where I want to get to by selling absolutely everything I don't need. I want to go out on a caveat where most preppers they think that if you have 20 or 30 guns that you're invincible, and I'm here to tell you that that is otherwise the case and that is incorrect. I just did a chat last week or Tuesday or whatever it was, this week maybe. Still, it's been a long week. My Golden 5 firearms, and it's a 12 gauge, a bolt action, a 22, your AR/AK, whatever your fighting rifle would be, and a concealable pistol. Those are really the 5 guns you need. And let's be real, guys. You're probably only going to have money anyway. A long gun, your sidearm. Um, to think anything other than that is extremely delusional and Call of Duty esque. So we need to break that stereotype for preppers, and I'm here to try to do that as the youngest boomer besides Duke Liberty in the market on these chats. And if a young guy is telling you this, somebody with 50 guns ought to be telling you this. They shouldn't be at that mark, in my opinion. This is coming from a guy I've liquidated an old man's 8,000 plus gun collection, and I'll let you know it was one of the hardest things ever because most of it was World War One, World War. I'm 32. Yeah, you're actually younger than me, Daniel. By the way, I need to figure out how to make you a blue wrench. I have some blue wrenches now. Can you add me as a friend on Discord, Daniel? While I'm going on a rant. Um, the idea being that you need to have a year's worth of food. You need to have some kind of backup power. You need backup and primary heat. You need to be able to be at some form or stability that where you can self-sustain on a slow burn on your preps for 3 to 6 months without any inputs or outside resources other than what you can do yourself, that being hunting, animal husbandry, gardening, things like that. And if you're in an area, uh, join my Discord server and add me as a friend or something, Daniel. Um, Here, hang on. Um, there you go. Oh, I think I. Okay, yeah, you have a different Discord name. That's why I didn't know for sure if that was you to make a mod. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought we were friends. Okay.
Give me a wrench, I'll turn your gears.
You have a wrench.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You have a wrench as of tonight. I have 4 wrenches. Daddy's been doing stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. I want to try to get people to shake loose of this, almost this idiocracy. You get people that are so far right that they think this is the answer, and it's an invisibility cloak on Harry Potter, and you're protected as long as you have these things in your possession. When you're just going to be a loot drop, yeah. And you need to have some. If you can't jog a mile, and you have 20 guns, boy, you better sell a gun and get a treadmill because you are in trouble. Okay, how you think you're going to be? Oh, this badass combat effective guy. I'm going to sit on my front porch with 3 guns and just keep pulling the trigger until I'm out of ammo and blah, 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 blah. You are not. You are not going to shoot at the grandma next door. You are not going to shoot at a 10-year-old little girl. You will not. I guarantee. I'll bet my life on it. To people saying that, you're just acting cool on the internet, okay? You're being a moron. There is no way in a weekend of some catastrophic event, whether it be natural disaster, SHTF, Red Dawn, nuclear, if you see a 10-year-old girl come up to you with their cheekbones in her face and her eyes sunken back, you are not going to get that kid something to eat. You are inhumane. And that's why I've strictly gotten off of the barter system for alcohol and things like that. You know what I stock now? I stock a 2-pound bag of rice you buy at the dollar store for $1.25. That's the barter item you need to stock, because at the end of the day, even if you don't trade it, you can still use it.
Yeah.
So I think we have dreams of grandeur and thinking that we're all John Wick, and we're not. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, peace and goodwill will go a long way. There'll be like I've said before, there'll be a resurgence of community.
Yeah.
Post event, and a little bit of grace will go a long ways. You have to be a politician as much as you have to be a businessman or a soldier or a farmer.
Yeah, I guarantee you'll be a farmer or a wood splitter or a weed puller a lot more than you will be a trigger puller. Just saying. But yeah, I want to start this chat off. I was hoping we'd get some more guys in here right away since I tried to start a scooch earlier. I'll tell more people as they trickle in. This is going to be a very PG rated chat, and I put this out in my Discord for the mere fact that people have told me that we have some virgin soon to be possibly eyeballing being a prepper, and this is families we're talking about. And if I have the opportunity to save 10 people in that 2 weeks of the hell grace period, I'm going to do it. Whatever I got to do. If I have to watch my mouth to help 10 people make it, I will do it. Okay. So I'm going to try and keep it PG. I know that's mostly a warning for me because I'm really good at not doing that. We need to... I want to break this down. This is going to get deep. Ohio, we're watching our mouth tonight. We're keeping a PG chat. So if you can't do that, I'll mute you. This is going to get deep dive. We're going to go through the stages deep. I want to basically make it to the point where people can make a checklist, or, you write all this stuff down and you make yourself a Excel document. So you can track where you're at and you can see where you're getting weak. So you can, further yourself and where you want to have a goal, I think would be a really good right now. Okay. You're good. Ohio. But yeah, the gun community as a whole, and I understand collectors and things like that. We've taken, if you're on the prepping side, you went a step in the wrong direction if you start stacking that deep. I think you're not on par. Even Duke Liberty, I think, has seen this because he's consolidated to a few things and went down, and he started getting other things that are useful, such as a silencer, aka Hush Puppy here. I've taken a dive into thermal, and I already have 2 jobs lined up where I'm getting rid of varmints, so it's already going to start paying for me as soon as I get it in my in my hands. It's going to make me money. That's going to pay itself off, and it's going to build relationships with me with farmers and things like that, and ranchers. That's what you need to be doing. Like it's been said here multiple times, you can be a 2A advocate group and you go down the highway and fill up bags of trash just with a gun on your hip, just like you would whatever. But you don't have to be a crazy person about it. You can be a good, upstanding citizen and not be a piece of trash. You got to put in more work to save light for a few bad faces than we do with the left, because the left has a large mob of bad faces, but they're all masked. so they can't be targeted any one way. If a shooting happens, it's all over the news for days, and it might not even be a right-wing guy, but immediately, first thing, it's the gun, the gun, the gun. And what are we all focusing on? The gun, the gun, the gun. That we need to get off this mindset. If you want to be prepping and you want to make it, it's not the gun. I mean, most likely it's going to be the rake or the shovel or the garden hoe, because that's what's going to keep you alive, growing your food. It's going to be the canning equipment. It's going to be how many lids and jars you got put back, not how many rounds of ammo you got. Because you can still take a deer with a bow. If we're 2 years into basically SHTF, brand new Amishing, EMP style, you're not going to have enough ammo stacked anyway if you're in a city. You ain't going to make it in a city. It's going to be taken back just like in The Last of Us as soon as everybody leaves and finds out it's unsustainable, it's going to be taken back by nature. It's going to be pretty much uninhabitable. It's going to be too much darkness. There's going to be not enough ways to sustain yourself. Not going to be enough ways for water, things like that. You're going to be a lot better off next to a cattle pond than you are in a skyrise, because you're going to have water. There's a reason why that cattle pond's been there for hundreds of years, because it holds water. And that's where the cities are going to pop up along the rivers again, so you can make trading easier. Water. Where does every human civilization ever, where does it start? On a river, by a body of water, a sustainable body of water.
Well, in an excerpt from James Wesley Rawls' How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It, he notes in the introduction that less than 2% of people around the world are involved in agriculture or fishing. He said, ponder that for a moment. Just 2% of us are feeding the other 98%.
Yeah. And they're
food on our tables is often from hundreds, if not thousands of miles away.
Very fragile strain supply chain, and with more regulation and more culling of crops and trade deals and destruction of chickens with this new quote-unquote pokey poke running around, just the culling of farmland in general being bought up by people that don't know how to farm means it's not going to be in production, which means even less food supply. We got to get tactical homesteading for prepping, not just a gun hoarder that goes to the range once or twice a year, because you're ineffective. It's going to be way better than the guy who goes to shoot on paper once or twice a year. This is a guy who's been deer hunting for 30 years and has his gun dialed and hasn't changed his bolt action for 30 years. And it's an extension of him, because you're going to be able to take that 300-400 yard shot, and some dude that sits there and shoots paper a couple times a year, it's going to come out with his red dot, just walking around. He ain't going to make it. That old hillbilly with the bolt action is going to do way better. And it's because he put the time in and the patience and the practice, and he knows, hey, I've walked a mile. It's going to take this. I need to redirect, how I'm breathing or how I'm shooting, or maybe I need to take a knee, or I need to get a different shooting stance, or I'm in a bad spot for a shooting stance. The guy who just sits out on a bench tacking paper on a rest will not know that. Because it's impossible. You've never trained that way. Go run down a cornfield all the way the length of the cornfield, and then put a target down there and try to put shots on target. You are going to be huffing and puffing and going everywhere. You ain't going to put accurate shots on there. I'll bet you my life savings you won't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we need to get out of this almost illusion of craziness at a certain point that it's blinding and overconfiding us, because we keep saying, oh, we want civil war, we want civil war, we want civil war. The left doesn't know anything. The left doesn't. I guarantee you the left's going to operate the best cheat code they got, and it's going to be blue helmets. And then it's going to be a bunch of ragtag people that have never PT'd, that have never learned communication, that don't know hand signals. You can take a renegade group of individuals, 100 of them, just because they're all kitted out, and you roll in and flank them with 1,000 dudes with blue helmets that all communicate, that have a speaker in their ear, that have comms, they have vehicles, they have things like that. Hang on, take this over. I gotta go let in R.
So while he's gone,
Yeah, I'm
I've
letting
been
you in.
sitting.
Yeah, I'll just cook up my lunch.
Hey. So he says blue helmets. He's talking about UN. I think one thing that the left has done a really good job of in the past 5-6 years is they know how to maximize their ability to organize and coordinate, and they know how to operate with little or no communicate trackable communication. Like they'll organize a meetup spot using social media. Like they rally their troops, they get their numbers for their demonstrations that turn into demonstrations or protests that turn into violence. They'll organize
I'm back.
via
I stole
social
one
media.
of those.
Once they physically meet up, they all know to ditch their phones, their identification, and whatnot, and then they put on their masks and move in anonymity. They've proved that Antifa, the Black Bloc, will have their designated armband colors, and they'll move like Spartans. They'll be people that are there to just be numbers, just to occupy the street. Then they'll have their organizers, the shot callers, and then they have their actors, the ones that will actually commit the violence. Throw the Molotov cocktail, throw the bottle full of piss, hit somebody or pepper spray somebody, and then they melt back into the crowd, and they don't have enough identifying features to be able to single anyone out. They know to fold.
The red band for the Nazis.
Right. That's what I was explaining while you were gone.
Thank you.
You were saying that they would default to UN troops, but I think something that they have mastered in the past several years is the ability to organize. They do organize through social media, make those connections. They show up, and then they know to discard their personal identification, any personal effects that would be identifiers, and then mask up, fall into formation,
I
and
agree
then
with that.
act.
And I think that they have some more nefarious training that happens in there. We make fun of the Dragon Lord dude or whatever, but he's like, hey, we have this guy training us and blah blah. They do have ex-military people that have not American interests in mind. It might be a terrorist cell, just saying it's fashion. It could be ISIS, it could be a Muslim, it could be anything. It could be Chinese.
I may be out of the loop a little bit. So who we're referring to? Who are the people?
Currently Antifa.
Huh?
People that could train Antifa. The people that don't want us, that are using the giant crowd of useless morons that are very well manipulated. Yep. Whoever Soros wants to give him for a trainer, I guess. Anyway, that's either here nor there. That gets a little bit more conspiratorial. I want to get people on a very practical mindset / list, which go ahead and take notes, because I want this to be some sort of a checklist, and I want the chat here to throw out more ideas, because it might help somebody, and they might want to add it to their checklist. Take it with a grain of salt. If you don't want to add something to your checklist, somebody, don't do it. If you do, if it's a virgin prepper scenario, you have no idea how to prep, this is going to be a 100% great start. It's going to be like the Zombieland number, whatever. Double tap all that. This is going to give you an A maybe minus way to get into the game, to get set in the right direction, to get your arrow pointed almost true north, and then so you don't waste your valuable inputs, being your working dollar or whatever that may be, or your time and effort, in the wrong direction. That's not going to help you. It's kind of the game plan tonight. And since Shot Red hopped in late, this is going to be a super duper PG chat, because we have a group of people that have never really watched these kind of chats before, and they're here to learn. And so we're going to try and keep it no PP jokes, no all that crap. I'd like to ask the chat to be super respectful in that case, because they might look in the chat for maybe some knowledge that you have, because we have a lot of knowledgeable people in the chat. That's where Lawfully Armed came from. Go ahead. You good? Okay. All right, so we're going to deep dive into the steps that we did last Thursday's chat. There was a lot of questions. I've had a lot of conversations with people afterwards, and I want to get in there because just like the chat with the Golden 5 firearms, you're also going to need other things for that, right? You're going to need a cleaning kit. You're going to need optics, slings. You're going to need if you have ammo, it's not just going to be in a cardboard box, right? You're probably going to have it separated out and like ammo cans and stuff. Like that's all stuff that's going to be grouped into that wasn't covered. That somebody who has no idea won't have an idea until somebody lets them know. You know. So we're going to get into that and think. Going to bump up attachments and things like that as you go further, because not everybody's going to start, with PVS 14s and a thermal and a suppressor on a $2,000 BCM. Did any of us start there? Full John Wick kit, body armor, a bug out bunker. None of us started there. Y'all work your way there, right?
Yep.
So that's the point of this deep dive. Hi, R. R's here in IRL.
Hey.
Nice haircut.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so going back to the last chat, we're just going to start it off here. And I got like 10 pages of notes on just a couple things, so it's really going to get into freelancing. So I'm going to take ideas from the chat at that point. And this might be a commentless chat, guys, and I'm not doing Discord tonight because it's going to be like 2 or 3 hours long as it is. This is a level 1. Your MAG, your mutual assistance group, is your immediate family. These are the people that you come home every day after work, you eat dinner, you break bread with, you go to bed with everybody in this house, whatever their schedules may be. People are sleeping in your house, okay? Your immediate family, whether that's grandma and grandpa moved in, whether that's you got your brother-in-law over, you got your brother-in-law and your sister living with you, you live with your mom and dad, I don't know. Whatever your situation is, this is level 1 MAG. All right. You have 1 month of shelf-stable pantry food. This does not include things in your refrigerator or your freezer, because if the power goes out for 1 month and that's all bye-bye, all you have is the shelf-stable stuff, which is your Campbell's soup, which is your rice, which is your pasta sauce, your pasta, whatever you may stock for that, your cans of vegetables, your cans of fruit, any dry goods, your beans, your lentils, your oatmeal, your peanut butters, things like that, things that can make it, your maple syrups, things that don't have to be refrigerated, not your condiments like your mustard, mayo, all that crap, because power goes out, that's toast. Or, maybe you can eat on it for a few days, like eat your sandwich meat and crap out of the fridge. But after that, if it goes for a month event, whether that be, I had some notes here, and especially for people that don't have an idea. Where'd that go? Dang it. As far as events to look out for, because some people are like, oh, all they do is prep for World War III or zombie apocalypse. That's not the case. Dang it.
Natural disaster.
Yes, that was the first one I had. Natural disaster. Oh, here we go. Natural disasters. 1, that's going to be your most common besides car accidents, right? 2, a job loss, accidents / life's mystery roll. You might roll a D20 and you get triplets, and you were not financially ready for triplets. You might all of a sudden lose a limb at work, something like that. You might catastrophically, you might lose your eyesight or something. You might be in a car wreck and become paralyzed. Life's mystery gift. Everybody rolls a D20. Some people get screwed. Some people win. That's going to be the 2 most common. 3 is economic issues, but they're not going to be job loss or things like that. These are going to be psychologically / governmental engineered, maybe even hack attack, where you don't have access to your bank. You don't have access to any of your money. The stock market gets hacked, something like that. Somebody has hacked the grid to the point where you can't go buy anything. And whatever money you have is worthless because nobody can take cash anymore these days. They don't know how to make change. They have to have the computer to make change. So it could be as simple as an internet. They hack the internet. Nothing works. Okay? You have no access to your dollar. You might be able to get by with mom and pop shops and things like that with whatever cash you may have on hand, but most people don't have 10% of their income on hand. So it's not going to get you very far. The $20 you got stashed in the ashtray or whatever. And then another situation may be foreign bad actors, whether that be T cells popping off here, whether that be invasion type from whichever border that may be, whether that be Red Dawn paratroopers, hacks on water, electric, things like that. That's going to be all under foreign bad actor stuff. And then political/civil conflict, engineered, most likely, probably pushed by certain individuals to the point where there's lockdowns/martial law involved. Basically, total revolt, right? It's not going to be a good situation on any foot that it ever lands on. And then the last one would be like World War III/nukes. Okay, that's the big, super duper scary topic that sells everything for Canadian prepper, right? Every other day, Canadian war. Oh, my top intel guy. Oh, I got information. It's popping off in 36 hours, but for 24-hour shipping, I can get you everything you need to survive it. That guy. The guy who's a millionaire, the guy who has a freeze dryer in his house, freeze drying hamburger patties because we've lined his pockets with fear. We don't want to support that crap. Yeah, we don't want to support. I don't want to support that crap. Ever. I never ever want anybody to prep that way out of fear. Or like Nut and Fancy. I used to love Nut and Fancy until I realized, wow, I'm buying all the crap that Nut and Fancy's reviewing. He's a salesman. He's a ShamWow seller, dude. Like, just saying. I don't want anybody to be following that guy because that's wasting your time, inputs, resources. Everybody can watch a 2-hour infomercial and think, wow, I really need to buy that glass cleaner that I can also set my glass in there. But, oh, I have a wash rag and soap right here. Why do I need this $50 thing to do it? It's going to take me 10 seconds to do. Anybody can sell snake oil if they're really good with words, is what I'm getting at there, right?
Yeah.
Don't fall into those type of channels. Anyway, any other inputs on that would be like the major things that people prep for? Zombies would also be an honorable mention.
So I do have something to add to this, and it's something for me personally, honestly.
Sure.
So, because obviously we don't, you have generators and stuff like that, that obviously is inclined that we're not going to be in a grid down EMP situation, that they would actually work.
Sure.
But say we are in a grid down EMP, and you have a bunch of, I don't know, frozen burger in your freezer, what is the best way to smoke that for long term?
Yeah. Or can it? Being able to long term preserve pre-grid, a root cellar, go straight to canning. In one of those books, I don't think it's in the audiobook because it's not a free one, but it's called the Going Home series, where basically an EMP happens and this guy goes and stops a rape, and he shoots 2 Pecker Woods dudes, and the neighbor across the road, she's a nice upstanding gal, and she's like, as soon as the power went out, I went straight to canning, and she canned up all their pork and all their beef and everything. And you can do that on a wood stove. You could can up quite a bit of stuff. When I get going, I can make 100 jars in a night. So yes, off-grid dependency for refrigeration. Refrigeration is a very Western. If you go to Europe and stuff, you can't get ice. You don't get cold drinks. They're room temp. It's a very us thing, especially air conditioners themselves. But if you do the EMP deal and you have, say, a solar generator in your EMP protection, you can still get. I think your freezers would probably work because they're a little bit different. Other than they don't have especially if you have a pretty basic one, they don't have all those microchips and things. Now, if you have one of those refrigerators with the touchpad on the door, that's probably not going to work. But just old school dial controllers and things like that, they're just gears and timers, and they're temperature based. They have a diode or they have an element in it that moves, and it's very primitive technology, but it's still used and works great to this day. I think that would probably work. Me being the HVAC background on that. The only thing I can see maybe is like, I don't know, a relay or something if it's too computerized for your compressor to run, but you can jump that out if you're electrically inclined enough. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that's a very good point. Off-grid refrigeration / preservation techniques. I have 3 freezers in my house, and that's the reason why I have a solar generator. Is we have power loss in the winter for weeks at a time sometimes, especially if power lines go down from all the ice on the power lines. We had that for like, what was it, 14, 15 days? Something like that, where all the hotels were filled up. We stayed alive at the fireplace.
Years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
How long was that? Do you remember? It was at least a week or 2.
Yeah, it was about like almost a week for most places, and there's like some real rural places that were
Right.
like,
Took longer.
yeah, that took longer. Yeah.
Right. Now that your plus side being in the winter for that happening, but that's why I have washed out milk jugs full of, almost full of water in your freezers in each corner. That helps a little bit longevity of that kind of thing. It's a very valid point to look at. I would say if you're that worried about it, I'd have EMP protection with your generator. Or you get a big filing cabinet, or you have somebody weld you a metal box, sealed, and rig it up. Make an EMP cache out of it,
If it wasn't running at the time of the EMP, your generator's probably going to be fine.
From an electrician.
If your battery wasn't hooked up to your car is going to be fine.
Maybe. But pre-72 is, you're definitely good. 72 or is it 74?
I don't recall.
I don't remember. Anyway.
I think it's like anything with a carburetor, as long as it's not a fuel injection start.
Yeah, you can get anything with a carb
Your
going.
radio might not work, but
Yeah, well, you don't need that. They don't have the push button start in the old stuff.
radio won't work anyway.
There's supposed to be riding around on their old lawn
But it won't go.
Yeah, the book 2, the old tactical lawn tractor. Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, I know one of the things I saw years ago, it was when they were talking about Venezuela fell and how you had intermediate power to
Mhm.
their refrigeration there. And you had people buying legitimately like rotten beef and stuff like that, still eating it.
Right. Yeah, I would not do that. Anything that goes from hot to cold temperature, especially meat, that's a good way to get, salmonella, E. coli,
Mhm.
cross-contamination, things like that.
Yeah,
At that
all kinds
point,
of
you
foodborne
become
illnesses.
Yeah, at that point you're vegetarian too, which would, if you had rabbits or chickens, you still have a fresh supply of meat because it's not refrigerated yet. It's still walking. So that's merits for that. And an apartment preppers, guys, you can get quail and you can get guinea pigs, which is a delicacy in some countries, and you can still do rabbits as pets. And if you're breeding them and eating 1 or 2 a month or putting it in the freezer, nobody needs to know. Just saying.
Mm-mm.
Things like that.
I've had quail before.
Really? It's delicious.
Yeah, it's a quail egg.
Oh, man. Oh, quail eggs are bomb, dude. If you get pickled jalapeno quail eggs, oh, my God, they're so good.
Oh, no, so I had some of that stuff in Buc-ee's.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, dude. They're
Yeah,
delicious.
when I say I was out there in Texas.
Yeah, dude. There's a guy here. He makes a living on it. He was a contractor, and then he has an entire, 80-foot barn just full of quail hatcheries, and all he does is pickle the eggs. Sells them at all the farmers markets, and that is his entire livelihood now.
Well,
How
I was going to
cool
say,
is
how
that?
long does it take for like a quail to be raised anyway?
Oh, I don't know. Google that, I guess. I haven't done
There's
it.
some stuff you can
I've
do.
looked in it a little bit, but
They take less space, and they mature, and they produce eggs faster than chickens.
yeah, I think they do 8 to 13 eggs. They're happy in a 1 foot by 1 foot container.
They aren't necessarily happy, but they'll live.
Yeah, yeah.
I sent you that video a while back. I don't know what the name of it was, but someone actually had them in like a 3-tier enclosure in their house.
Yeah, for an
It was like they were
interior,
pets, but they just go and open it up and they just pick out the eggs
Yep.
every day.
an interior quail run for
they had,
inside /
Yeah,
apartments.
they had 6-7 quail living in there.
Yeah.
And they were like their little pets, but
As soon as they get
had a bunch
going
of
and
eggs.
produce, and then whatever you figure out their lifespan is, just like chickens, we rotate through every year-ish, 2 years before they start getting too old, and they're not really good for eating. As soon as their egg quality production starts going down, that's when you can kind of have a chicken dinner, and you have another one come up that year, and that's going to take the place of that chicken. As soon as you get that rotation figured out, whatever you may be raising, you're good. And that's quite frankly experience, and you're not going to get that internet keyboarding it now without starting it and trying it.
Mhm.
But yeah, things like that. You could do mealworms if you want to eat worms. You want to eat worms, you can do worms. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can do beetles, edible bugs are a thing you can definitely do. You could do those in a little plastic tote. Might not be the best, but you won't be dead. All right, so those are the big why everybody preps typically, right?
Mhm.
All right, so for this reason, I have made these levels 1 through 4, and I'm going to try and help you guys. Go ahead and pull out your pen and paper, make a checklist. We did go over this in one chat, and I encourage everybody to go back and listen to it, because after you listen to something a couple times, especially me, I listen to all my chats afterwards, because I might be running my mouth and I accidentally run over somebody's comment that was really good because they're soft spoken. And then I feel like a jerk, but it is what it is. All right. So level 1, your MAG is your immediate family, wherever you're laying to rest at night. That's your MAG, your mutual assistance group. You have 1 month of pantry stable food with or without power. It's what's in your pantry, canned and whatnot, things like that, right? You have your juice, your pop, your water bottles that you don't have to rely coming out of the tap. You have bottles of juice, you have all that stuff stocked. You have enough for your drinking, your cooking, and rule of thumb is 3. I'd recommend 4, because if you're trying to take a bath, it ain't going to be gallons and gallons coming out. It's going to be a sponge bath and a quick splash here, do your hair, scrub your face, scrub your nether region, another quick splash, and a hobo bath basically. You're going to want that water for drinking at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
that's the safer thing to say. I know another word, but we say we got to keep it family friendly here.
Yeah, we're going to try to keep it. But I mean, that's where like the dude wipes come in. That's where the camping wipes, the baby wipes. I've done it hunting. We have a dry camp where I deer hunt. I hobo bath with dude wipes. It works.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't as refreshing as standing under the shower that's piping hot and feels really good on your back, because it ain't that.
One thing I have found in this situation that people should be prepping, when you go to the hospital and they're doing like the sponge bath on you, and they have that, it's like a soap stuff that can be used without water. That's a good thing to prep, honestly, because I've started doing that now.
Like the dry soap and the dry shampoo.
Yeah.
They sell that in the camping section too.
What is the
You
name
can
of
buy
that stuff?
I forget, but you can buy like huge bottles of it at places though.
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon.
It's
I
like
can
a 3 to 5 pack or something.
Yeah, they just dry shampoo, dry soap. You can get it at the outdoor section at Walmart, like $10-12 for both of them.
Wait. So how does it work though? Like,
It's like a powder.
It
Well,
collects
not
the
the one
oil.
I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about, it's like it basically comes out as like a soapy form almost. You just
really?
like spread it wherever then.
then what you
So
do, like
it
rinse
kinda goes
And then
yourself
you
like
off?
just wipe
hand
it
gel?
off basically after that. Yeah, it's
Oh.
it's not really hand gel. It's like if you would have I'm trying to think what they're called now.
Like foaming hand sanitizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kind of
Exactly.
like that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then you just like
Well,
spread it on and then
It
like
absorbs
wipe it off and stuff like that.
Shampoo, it absorbs the excess oil, and then you towel it off, wipe it off.
Yeah.
Almost a modern version of like a clay bath. You'll see like primitive cultures do.
Yeah, it's almost a reverse shower.
Well, I was going to
Pulling
say one
stuff
thing, if you can, I'm like, yeah, maybe a list of some of these websites where you can get some of this stuff.
Check out my Amazon affiliate link. I have been putting stuff in there for like the last hour. I do not have dry soap in there.
Well, yeah, well, you know what I'm talking about, like, because remember, like, you told me some good examples of certain other sites besides Amazon, too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just your local Walmart,
That's where your
sporting goods store, camping's outlet.
Like that
As far
medicine
as-
one, that was an interesting one.
The which one?
basic bathing.
The bag.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The Jace case.
Rainstorms.
Yeah, the
or
Jace case.
Gotcha. I think I sent you.
Living water if you've got a stream.
Yeah, well, I was giving that example because you
Right,
got there's probably certain websites like that, like you probably won't find nowhere else.
Right. It's a good
I
option.
was just referring to bathing, to hygiene. If you're fortunate enough to have a source of natural running water, a stream, a creek, you don't want to bathe in stagnant water, but you
Right.
could a little squeeze of Dawn dish soap and some running water will go a long ways to keeping the funk down.
Yep. 100%.
Face,
got
fits,
that.
crotch.
Yep. All the nasty bits cleaned up. You got one big pack of toilet paper. We found quite recently toilet paper is an issue. And I want to extend that to your feminine hygiene, you have at least a bottle or two of shampoo, whether that be one you're working on, you have a couple bars of soap, you got enough deodorant to get you through the month, things like that, things that you apply every day. You're in at least one thing of toothpaste, maybe you got one put back, you're in a thing of mouthwash, maybe one put back. This is level 1, so you don't have to have it super duper stacked, which makes it easier for people to cover a large swath with a lower amount of cash. Shampoo, soap. You also have your basic rotation of clothing, your standard clothes you wear every day. You got your pants, you got your shorts to rotate in the summer months. You got your short sleeves, you got your tank tops, whatever that may be. You have the proper undergarments, that being, if you wear undershirts, if you wear whatever underwear you have, whatever socks you have, you probably don't want to be wearing wool, hunting pants and, fleece lined coat and hoodie when it's 102 degrees out. Be smart. Don't have your thermals on when it's 100 degrees out. That's what your rotation's for. You have your wherever you live climate equivalent rotation for the season's worth of clothing, with like maybe none put back. Like just whatever you have is what you have. You don't have like a new pack of socks hanging out, or you don't have like a new pack of underwear hanging out, anything like that, right? Which is most people. You have your and that includes your coats, jackets, whatever you need, your swim trunks, whatever. For your firearms, which is what everybody loves, which I'm going to put all the firearms / that kind of gear towards the back to kind of keep people to get that dopamine drop for talking that stuff kind of hanging on. You know what I mean? Us gun guys. Yep. The base, the Golden 5, your shotgun, you have 200 rounds. If you're a hunter, you got mixed between your steel shot, turkey loads, pheasant loads, whatever, and you got some buckshot for home defense. Okay. You have your bolt action, whatever that may be for a hunting caliber for larger game. You got 4 boxes, and one's maybe the one you've been taking to the range to dial in your new scope or the first scope that's on it, dialing it in for hunting season to get your load where you want it, so you're getting familiarized. So you got 3 sealed, 1 you're working through box. You got your AR, your AK, your go-to-war rifle. If some super duper bad stuff's happening, that's probably the one you're going to take, because that's the one that can do the gray man of everything, but not be the master of any of them, except for putting rounds down range in a fast matter, right? When it's needed, it's needed. You got 500 rounds loaded in mags, so you have enough mags for that. I think maybe I could even dial this down to 2 full loadouts. Your 7 mags, your 6 on your chest / gun belt, and the 1 in the gun. If you have 14 mags with the ammo you're going to fight with loaded, or maybe like a couple mags with like home defense, like the Hornady varmint rounds, which is what I do, so they don't over penetrate. You have your bump in the night rounds loaded. Okay. And then you got 500 just FMJ go to war ammo, not loaded. I think that's a good base. And that can just be out of the box. You don't have to have anything on it, just irons, if that's the bare minimum, right? Your handgun, you have 3 to 6 mags of your hollow points, whatever you may carry for your CCW, loaded. You could carry 1 to 2 on you, 1 in the gun, 1 in your pocket, whatever that may be. And then I'd like to have 1 in each vehicle for if you have to reload in some sort of scenario. You're away from your house, you have an extra mag. And then maybe an extra mag by your nightstand. Kind of be where I'd spread that out if I had 3 to 6 mags. And then you got 500 rounds of Full Metal Jacket in the back, not touched. And maybe a couple, like a box of 50 you're working through at the range if you're trying out like new sights or something like that. You got your 22 of your choice, your flavor, whatever you choose to stack for your 22. And you got 2 bricks, 2 500-ish round bricks. And that's base ammunition loadout for level 1 for your mag, your immediate family. And I think that if everybody could hit all those checkpoints, I think you'd be more prepared than 80% of everybody out there. And you're probably going to make it through the first 3 large indicators of whatever that may be. SHTF, Teotihuacan wise, I think you'd be fine. Anything to add to that panel?
I think if a person's going to have the 5 or more guns and have that much ammo, I think more emphasis ought to be put on it already being in loaded mags in some way that you can grab and go with it. Because if whatever situation ultimately occurs requires, necessitates you bouncing, what you can grab and run off with is all that will benefit you. The rest will just be left.
I would say
I feel that.
if you're like forming more than a larger community, make sure all of y'all have the same compatible types of stuff, ammo related, mags, all that. And if you are doing something a little more, if stuff gets really worse later on the line where you do have to form a community, or maybe you have to go on patrols or raids or whatever you have to do, most likely you're going to be carrying more than 6 mags. That's the best way, because you'd be surprised stuff can happen.
Standardization.
Yep. I think that would be a little bit more geared towards a further level. But yeah, I agree with you on that. Commonality is a big thing. That's why I'll do a quick rundown on my Golden 5. My Golden 5 shotgun is a Remington 870 or a Mossberg 500. It's the most common shotgun that's good quality that I trust my life to forever. If I had one shotgun forever, which I've had my 870 since I was 12. It's my first gun. I put hundreds of pounds of birds in my freezer with it. It's fed my family for years. It's never going anywhere. That'll be the gun that I give to my grandkid. Okay, for your bolt gun, it's whatever you decide to hunt with, whatever. If you're in a shotgun state, it's a shotgun. You have a smooth bore slug, whatever your state's level of what you can hunt with is. If you're in a super duper heavily wooded area and all you're on is the river, 30-30 is probably fine. If you're not, you're on open plains in Nebraska way like I am, probably need a bolt. That's just the way it is. If you're in LA, you might not need a bolt. Just saying, definitely could see reasons for it. Definitely going to be really hard to roll down the streets of LA with a bolt. Just saying.
Crossbow.
Yeah.
Do a bow.
I would see that as more of a defensive weapon, given how the areas is laid out in here.
Yeah.
You're on that.
I could see that. And then your concealable handgun, whatever flavor that is, stack it with whatever your buddy's carrying. If you're all on 1911, get a 1911. If you're all on Glock, get a Glock. If you're all on Smith & Wesson M&Ps, get a Smith & Wesson M&P. If you're all on whatever flavor it is, if you're all on high points and that's all you can afford, I'm happy that y'all at least have a high point. Okay? You know what I mean?
Does a high point take a Glock bag?
Huh?
Does a high point take a Glock bag?
Definitely not.
Does not? Okay.
It is a single stack their own mag.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the proprietary mags that they created in the 90s.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which, ironically enough, to get into that talk for a second here, for those who don't know about High Point's past, they actually became a massive gun company because of the Assault Guns being 94. That was when they created their carbine.
Yeah, that's about as heavy as guns were back then.
Well,
their carbine's actually not that bad.
See, I thought the carbine took it, but I guess not.
Their handguns work too. I mean, they're just ugly. Which
I was going to say, if you
they're also very hard to break down because you need a whole punch kit to do it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying. Pretty much, all I was going to say was, if you definitely live in a more freer state where you can get something a little bit better, you got way too many options and even cheaper to do that than High Point. But
right, there's
the gun will work. But don't forget to get certain options, and don't forget getting certain parts too. You'd be surprised what stuff breaks down.
Yep, 100%. We're going to get into them being absolutely virgin gun owners, so they're not going to be thinking that way yet. That's level 1. Go ahead and make your checkoff list for that. Rewind it. If you think of anything you need. Great. I'm going to look through a couple meaningful comments. If you guys see any in here that I need to shout out, just going through a couple of these real quick. No, Daniel, naughty. Yuck, lawfully. We don't like AKs. I sent a link to Night Strike. I don't know where he's at. Mostly peaceful protest. That's right. Saudi. A lot of people are in the BRICS, so that could be a humongous economic indicator. If enough of the world uses it, then we're going to straight Venezuela, right? And that'd be a good reason to have this. Yep, 100%. You guys know your location better than anything. This is just a basic list. If shotgun's not needed or a bolt action's not needed where you are, substitute for whatever's more practical. Like I was saying with the 30-30, if you're in the middle of the heavily wooded Iowa on the river, you probably don't need a 308 bolt action. Your 30-30 probably got you.
Yeah, just like a lot of prepping guys I watch, they're like all doing their out in the field stuff. It's always in like the woods. It's always in the woods. We don't have no woods around here.
Right.
And I'm like, watch this. I'm like, well, then what half the stuff this guy's saying isn't really going to work.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
apply.
like, you got to stay out of the way so no one sees you. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, if you're humping up in the mountains
Unless
of
the
Colorado,
corn's
it's
up.
not going to translate to the flats of Nebraska. It's not going to translate to the heat of Texas. It's different.
Even different parts of the same state too, because especially for me, in the next month or so, I'm probably gonna be leaving this place, and I've been prepping in this house for years now, and now I'm gonna have to go to a whole new location. It's probably gonna be an apartment of some kind, and figure that out. So there you go.
You're gonna have to have a thing on your channel basically of crafty locations for prepping, and you're gonna have to really use your vertical storage really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
And my area is like the mix of everything, but it's like you're not gonna. It wouldn't. I mean, it would kind of seem a little bit worth it if you know what you're doing going out of the outskirts, but sometimes you ain't got a chance to do that, and you got too many hurdles to go through there.
Yeah, if you're in the desert, you better 10-tuple the water solutions because you're gonna need it, and you're not gonna get enough rain for rain catchment to sustain you all year. Unless you have a huge catchment system.
I'm not sure which level this will fall into, but I do want to mention this though, because it's something I saw years ago. For vehicles, if you're storing fishing rods, you can actually it's like a piece of tape stuff up on there that's like Velcro, and it'll actually be able to store your rods above you.
Oh yeah, in the roof liner or whatever. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I've also seen like you can put stuff up there if you get like one of those toy nets at the dollar store. You can put a lot of stuff up there too, like blankets and stuff. Yeah. I'm not going to go through all these guys. Not tonight. Fiend Dog, Maverick 88 is a great shotgun if you're broke. Yes, it is. Those are just what Mossberg every day. Fiend Dog, we're not friends. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's easy for you to get to even where I'm at.
Right.
Yeah, the Maverick 88 is a nice workhorse basic shotgun for everybody.
It's decent. I'm not a fan compared to the 870 or the 500. I think they're a way better quality shotgun for another 100 muffins.
Yeah, I got a 590. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for a couple $100, you can really the quality jumps so much that if that's your one shotgun for your life, like my 870 was my shotgun for the first 20 years of my life.
Because
it still runs.
Ironically, I was talking this discussion with my uncle because he has a Maverick 88, and I guess he was telling me, I don't know if it's true, because the Maverick 88 can't really handle a lot of 3-inch Magnum shells that much.
Yeah, I think they're just 2 and 3
like a crack. Yeah.
Or are they 3-inch? Can't remember right offhand.
It seems like most shotguns these days are 2 3/4.
Yeah. I don't know. Mine's a Super Mag, so I can shoot 3.5s out of it, which is awesome for goose.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Oh, yeah, and I put a freaking adapter in mine, so I could just take 1 inch to all the way to that.
Right. I do want to take a small break here, and William Ravenshire is actually an author, and I have in my Discord free audiobooks. And after you kind of get this list down, and if you actually listen to one of these audiobooks like 1 second after, or you listen to the Cyber Nuke series or Christine Kershey, I mean, that's right at level 1, jump into level 2, somewhere in there. Like that's right at where normal people would normally be. That would be great to get your mind thinking critically, so that way you might find more things in there for a checklist that you want to do. Now, when you get further in William of Ravenshire's first book, the Cyber Nuke series, you'll be like, wow, these people are way set. And that's not the level we're talking about right here. But the event that happens in the beginning is a very real threat today. And to have your eyes open to that would be very good, opposed to staying ignorant to that situation.
And the more people that you can help in your geographical location, whether you've got them read into your intentions or not, the more people that you can get into a level 1, approaching level 2, the easier your life will be just in your location.
I would sleep much better if my entire block was on level 1 because I know they're not going to try and break in and cut my throat at night for a can of baked beans.
Exactly.
Month
You
2,
won't have
different story.
breakdown.
Right. Exactly. And then if you got your golden firearms set, then you can rotate patrols. So you don't have to sleep with one eye open. You can actually get some quality sleep, whether that be 4 to 6 hours. That might be all you have in between doing, day-to-day tasks without power and trying to level 2. You'll see what I'm talking about. Your mag includes your extended family, whether that's grandma and grandpa, your cousins, your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, whomever lives within walking distance, within a day's walk. Okay. Reasonable effort if, pumps are shut down, EMP, something happens where your vehicle can't get you there. Within a day's walk, this is your group that you trust, that's still family. I'm not reaching out to friends yet. This is still family that you've known your entire life. That's where the most trust is going to be over Bob, who just started work at your company last month. Okay, I don't trust Bob with my family's life. I'm not going to sleep while Bob's watching my 1-year-old baby. I'm not trusting Bob I've only known for a month, opposed to grandma, who's raised all the kids plus all the grandkids, right? I trust grandma with my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that's falling, okay? Level 2, you have 6 months to 1 year of can/rotating pantry, and that is pretty much every time you go to Walmart, instead of buying 1 can of baked beans, you're buying a flat. If you're buying 1 can of tomato soup, it's on the list, you're buying a flat. Whatever the flat quantity comes in, if it's 16, 12, whatever, you buy a flat minimum anytime you have 1 can on your list to rotate out, because that's how you extend your stockpile further past what you eat. Whether that's...
Exponential growth.
Go ahead.
Exponential growth.
Correct.
Talking about.
Mm-hmm. And if you got a growing kid, you got a baby kid, you got a younger kid, they're going to increase the volume of food they're eating. So you got to kind of plan for that as well. / change the types of food they're eating. As far as pantry, that kind of goes there. Maybe you add more dry stuff like pancake mix, instant potatoes, oatmeal, things like that, because that's super duper cheap and you stock a large quantity very quickly, and it makes really quick, good meals and good sides, things like that. Stovetop stuffing's another good one. Mac and cheese.
And it'd be a morale boost. You don't want to just immediately flip the switch and go into beans and rice every day. That'll be
Right.
a big
Right.
palate and gut shock.
Yeah, another thing would be spices. If you have 1 thing of pepper and salt, you probably got 2 or 3 stocked. You got your oregano, you got whatever spices of life, your lemon pepper, your ranch powder. You probably got 2 or 3 of those. I would highly recommend it, because if you are stuck on beans and rice, boy, will you hate yourself after eating nothing but beans and rice for a week, and you will be backed up, and then your toiletries will become a condition.
Like, those are the most easiest thing you can do. I mean,
Yep.
you have to most don't have to deal with a lot of expiration, but
Right.
it's good to start to run a lot of spices, even stuff that you may probably like, and really good for good trade, because you'd be surprised what if somebody don't have nothing that
Oh yeah, dude. If you
eat bland
went
food all day.
if you went a month eating nothing but rice, and then somebody made you corn muffins and like fish with some seasoning on it, you would hug that person.
I mean, often people forget too, like how big important spices were. I mean, people back before, a long time ago, some people used to do wars off of this stuff, or
Right.
And
You
made
used to get
a lot of
paid in
money.
salt because it was that important, that valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where we get the term salary.
Yep. Prepping 20 years versus the person who's been prepping for 20 days. They can't relate. That's 100%. But if we can all get on level 1, we can all help each other and come up with ideas to extend that and not be a problem. And by that time comes having a smaller community, even if it's just the neighbors that touch your yard, would be better than not. Anyway. Okay, so you have, I'm going to change it up here. You got 2 to 3 big packs of toilet paper, and you got one that you're working on. And you have 6 months to a year of your toiletries, whether that's your floss, your hygiene. You got a backup toothbrush, you got your shampoo, you got your soaps, and if you have conditions that change, like here, you need moisturizing soap in the winter because it's so dry, you start cracking your hands and stuff out. So you know your location, your body. If you need, working hands in the winter for your feet and your hands, you have that because you know you need it.
That's
you have your.
stuff.
Oh, it's so good, dude. I love that stuff. You got your vitamins, some medical stuff. You maybe have a 1-year medical pantry, including like antidiarrheals, Tylenol, ibuprofen, the basic over-the-counter stuff, your Tums, your allergy meds, the basic stuff we consume a lot of every year, your cough drops, things like that, vitamin C, stuff like that. Your 1-a-day men's, your 1-a-day women's vitamin, whatever. Your vitamins for a child. You got your Flintstone gummy stock ready to rock.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you might be dabbling in solar, whether that's just a panel to charge battery packs because you're taking the occasional camping trip or whatever. You probably have some rechargeable batteries would be good. You maybe have like a solar weather radio, maybe a solar crank radio. Just some small stuff like that is a nicety to have, a luxury at some point. A Lucy light, those work really good. They're cheap at Walmart. You got maybe some solar lights that if you have a bonfire or something at your place, they light up, kind of the bonfire area or wherever. You have them on your deck so you can have a little ambiance with your little tiny fire pit or whatever. You might have a small herb garden or garden in general. You may start taking up a hobby to extend / increase your knowledge of hunting and fishing, maybe trapping, things like that. If you didn't have a freezer, you now have a freezer with freezer bags, and you are catching things on sale. Like chicken was on sale, so you bought a case of chicken and you cut all the little nasties off and the fat off, and you repackaged it and put it in Ziploc freezer bags and put it in your freezer because it was on sale, and you're saving money. Or, hey, honey, that half a beef is on sale for $100 less. We're going to buy it while it's $100 less, and we're going to put it in the freezer and we're going to eat on it all year. Or, I just shot 2 deer. We're going to learn how to cut them up ourselves, opposed to paying the deboning fee and the processing fee that costs more than the entire hunting trip for 1 deer. Right? And then your deer's not getting mixed into a big batch and ground up and done the same thing with your deer. If you find, like we had one that was bow shot and it had an infection. You couldn't see it because it was healed enough that it didn't show when you shot it for rifle season, because bow season goes before rifle season in this state. And we shot it and everything was fine. We hung it fine, skinned it, huge green spot on its back. And so we separated that meat and we let it hang for 2 days, and we came back and that deer stunk up the whole shed. So we did not take anything off that deer. That deer went in the coyote hole. So we burned a tag, but we didn't get sick, right? Mm-hmm. Things like that, which I would hope to God your butcher shop knows that. But sometimes you get some shady workers. It's a crappy economy. Sometimes you hire Pedro over behind Home Depot because you need help. Not to be racist, but it happens. Or you need to have a 14-year-old kid and their give a damn is busted at 3:00 in the afternoon because they've never worked a full 8 hours. You know what I mean? So, anything to add a little self-reliance to you, you might be picking up a hobby like that.
I want to touch on 2 things that were mentioned in the comments. One was about 20 gauge. I cannot emphasize that enough, especially for myself, who has arthritis issues for years now. That being said, I prefer to go to the NATO calibers, 9mm, 12 gauge, 5.56, 308, etc. there. And that really should be your go-to because that's going to be the most available stuff. The 20 gauges are like the secondary I consider to be it anyway.
Right. The commonality is where that is. If you can't handle a 12 gauge, don't stock a 12 gauge. Yeah.
And the other one was about half a tank of gas. You should really go 3/4 or better in your vehicle at all times anymore.
Yeah, I could see it. I definitely don't go below half in me or my wife's vehicle. So if you can keep that as a base minimum, that's better than going to E. But I would like it to be higher as well.
Try and buy ethanol-free gas because if something happens, it lasts longer.
Listen here, I live in Nebraska, and you're hurting my fuel market.
Well, I work at a gun store, and I'm telling people to not buy flipping guns right now too.
Fair enough.
We can speak the truth.
All right, fair enough. There's pluses and minuses for it. I think. I mean, I'm running in my truck all the time. I think I get maybe a scooch better gas mileage with it, but if I'm going on a long trip or something, or if the vehicle's going to set for a while, I just put the regular in it. Of course, here being in Nebraska, it is about 20 cents cheaper. So sometimes it's a budget thing. Don't slap it. Do not put it in your mower or your gas tank if your fuel line is not rated for it, because it'll eat your fuel line if it's not rated for it. That's a public service announcement. Anyway, you have a water bob because you might still be in just having cases of water, a couple gallons of water storage, and you don't have containers of water yet. But a water bob is $20 on my Amazon affiliate link, and you can have a lot of gallons of water and take up like no space chilling in a closet until that day happens. You have a location that you will go to for a bug out, and you have a bug out bag for people that will be taking a bug out bag. I would recommend for every adult minimum. And I also think a kid can pull their weight, and bringing their favorite stuffed animals and a pillow that makes them happy, they can carry that. They most certainly can carry that. You know, if they have a favorite pair of shoes, whatever, if they have a favorite toy that they can't go to bed at night without because they're still in that stage, they're clinging that teddy bear, bring that teddy bear. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You maybe have a camper / shack / grandma's farm, whatever, for a possible bug out location, but nothing set in stone. But if things were going to get bad and you live in a more city dwelling area, you want to get out, 100% would be a good idea. I'll go that. That is your MAG extended family for level 2. With that, to the juicy bits that the gun guys love, level 2 ammo. Your shotgun, if required, you have 250 to 500 rounds. Depending if you're a hunter, you have your mix of whatever you need, whatever you hunt for, whatever you hunt with. Your bolt, you have one case, an entire case that you do not touch, that is sealed up until you need the next box. And if you get another box, you replace it at earliest convenience. You never go below a case of ammo for your bolt, whatever that may be for your area, or your lever action, whatever that translates to your area for. Your AR, I had 30 mags loaded, but yeah, I still stand by that. 30 mags loaded with 1,000 rounds in the back. Fighting ammo. Various mags can be moved different places. You might also start having a bump in the night / chest rig / maybe a gun belt, battle belt type deal. And I would be training in it in all areas permissible, whether that if you have some private ground, you can go walk a field, a hay field, whatever. You can walk on your treadmill at your house. I would not be walking around publicly with this on, especially with the microscope on 2A type people. No need to get unwanted attention in this time. You want to remain gray man for as long as possible. Fair enough? And I would also say that you have upgraded your optic system past irons to a minimum of dot. And you at minimum have a sling on this. Okay? The rifle, you have your sling, you have your scope dialed in tight, minimum. Your shotgun, I like slings on guns. So I know a lot of people don't run a sling on the shotgun. It's kind of nice. You should check it out. Sling, fiber optic front sight. It's pretty nice if you're hunting birds on a cloudy day. Recommend it highly. Quail and stuff get up in a big covey going around every which way, and it's kind of a rainy, crappy day. That fiber optic picks it up real quick. You have your pistol. You have 6 mags minimum with hollow points loaded, and you have 100 backup rounds of hollow points because you are going to be training a little bit. I wouldn't let these stay loaded longer than a year. You need to cycle it out for reliability. And it will also give you a real feel of your defense round and maybe you make a homemade gel target or something, you can actually see what the entrance wound does, so you can plan accordingly, I guess. And you got 1,000 rounds in the back for SHTF. And I would recommend at this point, if you have a pistol for home defense or nightstand gun, whatever, you have a light on it, you have night sights at minimum, and you definitely have a holster that could accommodate if you're going to carry with a light or not. I recommend you have a light, period, because your gun belt, you should have a light bearing sidearm, because you cannot shoot at what you cannot see. I'd probably also have a light on your AR as well. That's level 2. Anything to add, panel?
So I do have a question on this one for the AR light specifically.
Sure.
Would it be side or under?
I'll let you answer your own question. Go turn off all the lights in your room and hold a flashlight underneath it and tell me what you see.
Okay.
I'm being serious, because you're going to see why I don't mount it under.
Mm-hmm.
Because your barrel will create a moon of absent light.
Yeah.
And it's useless. So you put it on the side. Now, a lot of people, if you just have a push button light and you're right-handed, you're going to actuate it with your left thumb, which means it's going to be pointing towards your body. If you're a super awesome, cool, tactical guy, it will be on the other side, because if somebody shoots at the light, which may be the only thing they see before they start shooting, the rounds are going to go past your body. If it's pointed towards your body, they will shoot at you. So, public service announcement, that's where I put my lights.
Yeah, I run mine outboard.
Thank you.
Batteries for all that stuff.
Yeah, minimum 1 change out
Also,
batteries.
I would probably put this in like late stage level 1, but level 2 for sure. Along with the clothing and stuff. If you've already got a pair of tennis shoes that you like, get another pair now. You know your fit, you know your size.
Yep. I
Boots,
was short that
I'm
on
in
this
pursuit.
list. Thank you.
Hiking / heavy duty work boots, something that, at least mid ankle, so you get that ankle support.
Yeah. If you got a pair of a Carhartt coat you wear in the winter and it's your favorite thing in the world, have a new one sitting in the closet waiting for that one to get tore up. You got a pair of bibs that you love moving snow with, have an extra pair of bibs. If you got your favorite footwear, like I love my Keen's hiking boots. I got 2 pairs all the time. If you got a pair of, like, I have to wear old man shoes for my messed up back, I got 2 pairs. I would probably also say in here, you should have 1 pack of socks, 1 pack of underwear, undergarments, if you wear an undershirt like I do for CCW. And maybe you got a couple extra flannels with a freaking, the tags on them that you haven't worn. Because when your flannels get wore out, you got a brand new one right there. That's your good church shirt, Yeah. Footwear gets very important the further you go without being able to get more. So I think good quality footwear. I don't buy Walmart shoes. I very rarely pay under $200 for a pair of shoes or anything I wear anymore, because I now know the difference between quantity and quality. And when you get to that threshold where you hit it and you feel the difference, like I feel the difference just with Dickies socks. I will never wear Hanes again. When I can wear Dickies socks for 2 or 3 years without a hole getting worn in them, opposed to Hanes that happen in 2 to 3 months, I'm not wasting my money on Hanes. When a couple bucks more, I can buy 1 pack of Dickies. That's where I'm at. Like me, how many people have you, if you guys have been in these chats, how many people talk their EDC? I've talked about my underwear. I wear Duluth underwear. That's all I wear. I don't have any other underwear. And if I get a hole in them, I'm sewing it, because they're $35 a pair normally. And we only catch them when they're on sale. But when you bump up that quality, you won't go back down.
This is actually for cold weather states. I would suggest getting slipper socks. They're usually like black in color.
Mhm.
And as someone who gets very cold in the wintertime, especially my feet, I can tell you right now, putting a pair of those on and just walking around with them is very much a lifesaver because it does get you back to temp very easily.
Very good. I'd also recommend your wool socks here. And if you know you're getting a little bit older in the bones, you got an old football injury or military, whatever, work injury, work comp injury, if you have a piece of, if you wear a knee brace or anything like that, you maybe have a backup one, or you got copper fit stuff, or like I wear a copper bracelet on my right hand for a little bit of rheumatoid arthritis / tendonitis things, and it helps. And I can tell the days I don't have it. You have a couple of those. You got the one you're wearing, and you got a backup. If you need a pair of reader glasses, you got a backup. If you need medication, you should probably have a month's worth there. You can call ahead of your doctor and say, "Hey, I'm going out of town. Try to get more." See, hey, can I get an extra 30-day supply? Because I always get too close to running out before you guys get it figured out between you and the pharmacy. And I've ran out a couple times. Can we give me an extra 30 days so I can get over that hump in between the paperwork? They'll probably say, yeah, go ahead. Especially if you just pay for it, like who cares? At least you have that extra, you know. If you're stuck wearing Walmart jeans and you've ripped a ton of them out, and you finally get a pair of Tractor Supply pants or some Duluth like fire hose pants are freaking awesome. Or what do you wear? What do you wear at work? You wear any special jeans? Tradesmen know hard duty work clothes. Talk to a tradesman.
I have a variety of stuff.
God, you are so helpful, R.
I got the Ariat rebar is pretty good. Believe it or not, those American Eagle Flex Fit jeans that are cheap.
Okay.
They're American Eagle, but they actually last because they really flex. They don't tear very easy.
They don't come in tactical muffin top size.
Yeah. They come in skinny dude size, which is why I used to wear nothing but American Eagle jeans all the time.
You're still a skinny dude.
Yeah, but I was a lot skinnier dude then. I've dug out an old pair of jeans and I put them on. I'm like, holy crap, these are tight. How small was I back then?
I like to think another leg grew, but we'll save that for a different chat.
That was when I had like a 28-inch waist.
I have like a 28-inch thigh.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was fun. All right. So any other throw-ins they want to do for level 2? Let me check the chat real quick here.
I do have the Duluth
Fiend,
moisture wicking pants.
Yeah, those work so good in the summer, dude.
I wear those in the summer.
I only got
they
2
come with
pairs.
a belt too, so you just watch it with on there, so you don't even have to bother with a belt in the morning. It's like a little belt clip thing. It might not work for you, but it works for me.
They don't come in my size with a belt, apparently.
Yeah.
Just picked up the shotgun 5-9. Okay, yeah. Trust each one for reliability. There's nothing wrong with these shotguns. I'm just saying I think the 500 and the 870 for a base shotgun. I wouldn't go any lower quality myself. I really like the Mossberg retrograde. Okay, cool. Let's see if any of this helps. That's a nice choice. Okay, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. Consider a neck replacement for that gas can. Oh, yeah. If you're stocking fuel, you probably got a couple 5-gallon bucket or 5-gallon things. Those new EPA rated gas can deals where they have the vent and the little push thing. Those are terrible. You can go to Tractor Supply and get the old school thing, and you drill a little vent in the top. The new EPA gas cans suck. And then if they have a little vent in there, cut that thing out. Tactical muffin top hack. The new gas cans are terrible. I spill more gas with that safety nozzle than I do with the old gas can I had. Let's see here. Modify. Okay, you guys are still talking about the gun. Fiend Dog, Duluth clothes are awesome. They 100% are, man. I love them. Red Wing boots, great boots. Wolverine boots, great work boots. I had a pair of my Wolverine boots that I just gave away to somebody who did not have the money. They were waterproof. They're rated for 480 electric. I could stand on an 8-inch nail with 400 pounds of pressure, which was good because Tactical Muffin Top was almost pushing that about a year ago and some change. That's what I wore when I was an AC tech, man. And I still walk through snow and water and everything just fine, and no water in them. 12 years old. I got rid of them. I'm getting a different pair because I need better stuff for my tore up back. So I have to rotate out my old shoes. I am nowhere near that much, but can we go to some more tomorrow? Yeah.
Since we're still on shoes for a minute, I do want to mention New Balance. Do not sleep on them. I've been wearing them for decades of my life. They're pretty much the only shoe that can fit me right now because of the size of my feet.
Sure.
And they work wonders. Like, yeah, it's going to be $100+ usually a pair or more, but
Yeah.
they'll last you for probably a good 10 years or so.
Yeah. Well, you're supposed to change your shoes every 6 months, apparently, is what my back doctor told me. I just switched to Brooks, and I have like custom orthotics and everything to help my back and stuff like that. And I tell you what, they really do work. They really do help. And it's going to extend the time that I have to do to get to a back surgery. That's worth it. That's worth every penny. They're like $160, $200 with the inserts every 6 months. $400 invest to your body health. You can invest in nothing more than your mind to your body. Do absolutely everything you can to extend the life and reliability of both. I've cut almost 74 pounds in a year now, like 8 months, because I'm trying to help my body. I'm trying to keep up with my little kid, and I'm prepping hard. So your number one prep is your body. In any one of these lists, it's your body. Okay, that's a fat guy telling people how to get skinny on the internet. Like, your body's your best prep. Take care of it first and foremost, and then spiritually, then it's family. Prepping is a tertiary, tenthary thing after hanging out playing dinosaurs with your kid, after making meals, after cutting the grass, after going to work, after doing your day-to-day grind. This is last. That's why I'm sacrificing sleep to talk about it, because this is my personal time. I'm cutting out, I'm not going to play video games anymore because I just do this. I got rid of that hobby to help people. I'm trying to help people. All right. I do want to say something. Ohio, your private chat, man. You're killing me. Did you hear the whole first part of this, like 20 minutes of this chat?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get stuff sold and do stuff right now. So
Okay. All right. Well, just don't focus just on the 2A stuff is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I mean, just yeah, I mean. Anyway, I'd rather you walk 10 miles. You know what I mean? That's free. You don't have to pay any money for that. All right, we're going to level 3. Anybody else got anything to say on that? Also, don't sleep on the free prep. I do very budget prep stuff on this channel. I like to do free prep. I like to do a $5 weekly challenge because it's a really easy, steady way to get to these levels. If you just spend $20 at the dollar store every week, you're probably not going to miss $5 or $20. Cut out a fast food meal. You don't need that burger at Mickey D's. It's killing you anyway. Go make a sandwich. Go make a sandwich, or you know what I mean? Make a salad. Actually, I eat spinach all week for $4. I feed myself for my lunch for 5 days. That's way cheaper than you're getting at any dollar store menu. Just saying. Like, healthy stuff can be cheap if you're not an idiot about it. You don't use huge portion sizes. Yeah, I found I saved a lot of money when I cut back my portion sizes. Anyway, level 3. Lawfully, you good? You got any input on this, sir?
I don't.
All right, you stay beautiful.
Not till you start enumerating. I might have.
All right, let's do this. Level 3, you got 10 to 20-ish in your mag, close friends and family members that you guys trust each other, whether that's, Jim Bob that you've been hunting with for 10 years, that's Uncle Sam's buddy who comes to deer camp, fishing camp with you all the time. That's the family you vacation with if you're going to go to the lake for a week. Very trusted people, not all related. Where's the first page to this? Whoops.
Time-tested, vetted relationships.
Yes, sir. You have an entire year of rotating pantry standard for every adult in the group. And if you have a family, you should have it for your child as well, because if you're not, well, you're going to feed them in SHTF, right? So go ahead. Everybody in your family, 1 year minimum rotating pantry standard stock. You have 6 months to 1 year of Mylar sealed 5-gallon buckets. Stock lock, ready to rock. Various dry food, dry grain, wheat berries, rice, corn, whatever that may be, lentils, beans, the boring stuff that spreads out, that extends your foods that you do have saved. the normal prepper stuff. Sealed with oxygen absorbers, the whatever. You get about 20 years out of that. You don't need to just, if you keep stocking that, that is the quickest way to build the calories for a group of people. And I would recommend that you have probably 10% of all that at a common bug out location from everybody going to that location. And you have that. You've started making an SOP, standard operating procedures, as to if this happens, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, chain of events, this, bang, bang, boom, boom. You're coming here with this. We already have this here. You're this guy. You start getting more dedicated things like, you're a roofer, Uncle Jim. You're working on the roof if we have a leak. You're a lawn care guy, Eduardo. You're cutting the grass like you do normally. Like, you're working in the garden. If you're Grandma Jenny, she's a canning fool and makes jams and stuff all the time. She's teaching a canning class and she's canning everything you guys got. Like, you're playing to your strengths. If Lawfully Arm is codenamed Backstrap Slayer, he, like second book with Steve, you're the deer hunter. You're the deer hunter, and then for 40% of the day, and then for the other 60, you're cutting wood. Because you're useless for everything else. Lawfully, sorry, you're the wood. You're the wood detail. That needs to happen. You need that stuff rotating. And if you just have one guy doing it all day, every day, they will get burned out. You cannot have a ditch digger 24/7 because they'll be done. You got to rotate them out. You got to have a little bit of light duty. You can't have old great grandma canning all the jars and then hauling in the turkey and all the potatoes, going out in the garden and picking all the potatoes and cleaning them and boiling them and moving that big pot of stew around. That's weight. And great granny ain't made to carry 80 gallons of stew for the whole group's lunch. Okay. You got to have a couple strong lads in there helping great granny out. You know what I mean? Play to your strengths, cover everybody's weaknesses. You guys should know those now. You should know your weakness. If you say you have no weakness, you're an idiot. If you're this old, you're on YouTube right now, you know how to run the damn internet, and you don't know you have a weakness, you're lying to yourself. You're a narcissist.
I have a weakness for sweets.
Shut up. You have 1 to 6 months of freeze-dried food per person. You have a solar generator / regular generator, runs on gas, diesel, whatever, propane, natural gas, whatever your flavor for your area, your expertise, your living conditions will dictate that. You have a guy who knows how to work on it. You have some spare parts for them. You have extra belts. You have extra changes for oil. You have whatever may need be, your air filters. You know how to clean and service it if there's an issue. You have a couple guys that know how to do that because 2 is 1 and 1 is none, right? Old great-great-grandpa dies. He's the only guy who knows how to work on the old generator. Well, you don't have a generator when old great-great-grandpa croaks. You know what I mean? You have somebody who's an expert in animal husbandry. They start working chickens or something like that. You have somebody who maybe has like a fish / pond, preferably at the location that you guys are going to bug out to. Think modern day Amish. Okay, you want to be set up. You want to start getting your end of the world group, and it'd probably be a good group exercise to rotate out weekends for people to get together and share skills and cross train and work in the garden and do whatever, dig that pond, whatever it may be, to start furthering the longevity of the location. Okay. You got chickens, rabbits, quail, worms, mealworms, beetles, things like that. You got fish, you're growing minnows, whatever you can grow and duplicate, and you're starting to do it pretty much on a loop and without any hiccup. You don't have 20 chickens dying on you. I mean, unless like a fox gets into the coop or something, like they're pretty much on autopilot now. Okay. You got your chicken tractor down. You got your garden pretty much down. You know what grows well in your area. You know what doesn't grow well, so you don't bother growing that. You grow what grows well to produce as much as you can. If your orchard's starting to die, you might be pruning trees. You might be planting new trees for your great-grandkids if this location is going to be a family location, right?
Okay. Save your peach pits and your apple seeds.
Yes, sir. Organic seeds are a big thing. And it looks like seeds go out to about 3 years because I planted them last year. 4 years in the freezer, not so hot. So don't let your seeds go past 3 years in the freezer, I found out. Tactical
They take a long time to bear fruit, too. So they're get them in the ground pretty quick thing. If
it's a fruit tree, you should have done that 10 years ago. You have rain catchment. You have big water bottles stored up, whether they're water bricks, whether they're 5-6 gallon jugs. You have larger than just a case of water starting for water procurement / storage, and you have it on rotation no longer than probably 6 months for those type of containers. And when you do that and you drain them, you get a good washout on them. And I would dare say you definitely have stash locations. If something were to happen, say it's definitely not within walking distance this location, which would be preferred so other people can't get there within a couple of days. You have a cache to get you there to resupply, to get more water, whatever, or you maybe have an LPOP listening observation post, somebody who can meet you / provide some overwatch to get you to and fro, which could also be a hunting stand. I mean, something simple. A dual purpose thing is a very realistic thing at this point. Why not? You probably have a wood stove if it's required for where you're at. And you have, if you need 6 cords of wood for where you're at, if you need 10 cords of wood, if you need 1 cord of wood, if you don't know what a cord of wood is, you need to figure it out and see if you need it. You have big propane bottles. If you have maybe a couple people decide, hey, that it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bed house, and we got 20 people out here, you maybe have 4 campers that chill out there 24/7. They're all squared away on propane, oil, fix a flat, whatever the camper needs, they got it, some caulking, Flex Seal, whatever. Hopefully they're not just sitting out in the open. They're actually under some sort of roof, like an awning at minimum, to help the longevity of said camper. Or maybe everybody has a little Home Depot shack, whatever. You have everything to make that bad boy run for a year. You got nails, you got whatever, maybe you got a little bit of extra wood laying around, you got nails, whatever you're going to need to repair the dang thing in your area.
Cans of decking stain.
Sure. Keep it on rotation. Use it. Keep staining it every year. Keep painting it with weatherproof paint, decking paint. If it's a cheap thing from freaking Menards or Home Depot or something, but it's something to live in, that's your little hunting shack. Take care of your little hunting shack. Take pride in your tiny shack, dude. Don't just let it become some hillbilly piece of crap. You know what I mean? Things like that. I recommend everybody have a backup stash kit that some people, but not everybody, knows, because if you get interrogated and you're like, hey, where's all this food, blah, 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 and you got Great Granny's moonshine stash or something that you know about, somebody will finally beat it out of you. You watch somebody put a knife up to your kid's throat, probably. Somebody that ain't going to crack, probably military, police, something like that. You got enough supplies that can get everybody through a month's hump stash with maybe a couple blasters, a couple pew-pews, things like that. Fixed blade knives, water filters, things to survive for a month. If all else fails, you get overrun, burned off the property, you're not left on zero. You got at least $200 when you pass go when you leave. You know what I mean? Level 3 guns. You got a shotgun with 250 rounds of non-hunter ammo, that being buckshot, slugs, whatever needed in your area. And you got 500 Barriers. You now have your guns decked out, on bead, on target, beautifully locked in. You're looking into some pressers. You got fully decked out guns, maybe even commonality. All the guns are running the same optics, the same foregrips, the same slings, all in the same area, so everybody can work the sling and everything the same way. So if one guy drops, you can pick up your gun if you have a malfunction and keep going. No change to your training. Whatever that be, a dot, LPVO, several people have body armor. You have the experts on their body armor, things like that. Gun belt setups, very similar, because uniformity is a psychological tool. You maybe have some uniforms. Maybe you have BDUs. Maybe you have redneck camo. You're like real tree, whatever flavor. If you have seasonal things, you need to have multiple ones. Like you need to have winter set. If you get a lot of snow, you need to have a summer set, spring set. If you get a lot of green foliage, you need to have a fall set if everything turns tan. So that has to be environmental matchup. You have 22s. You have 1,000 to 5,000 rounds. You have 2 to 4 ARs, fully furnished to the max, exactly how you all want them. Lights, everything decked out the same. Let Tactical Muffin Top hydrate here.
And more batteries for all of this stuff.
Yes, you have enough batteries for a year's supply rotation, definitely with rechargers. 100% on that. And everybody's proficient enough, 200, 300 yards. Great granny can do it. Your 10-year-old kid can do it. Okay? You've taken range strips out. Everybody's familiar enough. If a malfunction goes down, everybody knows how to clear it in their sleep. Things like that. Handgun, you got 10 mags with your battle belt set up. You got 2 battle belt kits set up. You, your wife, you, your boy, whatever that breaks out to be. You and grandpa. You got 10 to 3,000 rounds. I put it at 3,000 if you got like maybe a PCC chilling around. It's a handgun. I don't think you need more than that. Stuff like that. The ARs for each AR, 2 to 4 max, fully furnished for a family. You don't need 2 to 4 more. You don't need more than that. North, south, east, west. If each member of your mag, if you got 3 to 4 families doing that, 12 to 16 ARs pointing north, south, east, west is God's plenty. If you can't handle it with that, you are in a way wrong spot. You picked the way wrong spot to bug out to. Everybody has 1,000 to 5,000 rounds per gun, 30 mags loaded per gun. Your bolt, you got 2 cases of ammo, and it's decked out exactly the way you want it. You got a tripod if you need it. You got a bipod if you need it. You got your shooting stick. You got your range finders. You got your whatever. You got backup slings in case your sling breaks. You got a backup scope in case your scope goes down. If you're running thermal, you got a backup thermal in an EMP tech bag and a Pelican case. Okay, like double of everything. If your entire gun goes down, you can build it or have another gun to replace that gun the exact same way, so no training falls off the wheel. Groovy? Groovy. The bug out location is sustainable. You have maybe some shooting areas. It's defendable, preferably on a hill. It's good. You can see everywhere 365 within your bolt range. And wherever you may set up things like that, you maybe have a storm shelter that you've added onto or a root cellar you've added onto, and you got a tiny bunker there in case of the nuclear option. You have some nuclear biological stuff set up there. You have caches. You have all kinds of that stuff. You have comms. You have people you can communicate with so you can get information. Information's a huge thing. Comms is a very weak thing, just like medical, just like hygiene on all the preppers list. It's one of my weakest points is comms. I suck. I don't have a comms guy. I need a comms guy. We all have to overlap and learn that skill now and take time away from what we're good at to become decent enough at it. Things like that. Source some Realtree camo. I was thinking folks would be rocking hunting camo. Yeah. Another thing is that digital camo pattern of BDUs are super cheap because everybody hates them. They're vomit. You can dye them whatever color. You could like woodland dye them to fit your areas of operation. If everybody had 6 loadouts of spring, dyed camo, milsurp, if you had winter loadout, if you had blackout for nighttime operations, just make sure if you have night vision and you have a night vision guy that nothing's seeable under night vision. You're not running cheap gear from Amazon that shows up on night vision and looks like a freaking neon sign. You got guys that know this stuff. And with that, I'd probably also say you have some rattle cans stashed so you could re-camo things as seasons change or your operations change, things like that.
So don't make the mistake of using clear coat.
Yes, matte.
Rattle can your guns.
All matte.
No, I mean even when you use the matte, like the dead matte glows like a diamond in a goat's butt under nods.
Oh, really?
I'm letting mine wear off and then I'm going to repaint it.
Recommendation.
Just like the Krylon camo paint.
Okay. Just like that might be a good thing to catch up on.
$5.5, $6 can Walmart stuff in like the camo colors.
All right. So how about Rust-Oleum from Menards?
You can do Rust-Oleum if you want. My experience is with the Krylon.
Okay, fair enough.
Just whatever matches your environment. There's several good spray paint groups on the internet.
Yeah,
with reference photos of everything.
Maybe hop in a night vision forum or something so you can learn about it if you have no experience with it. Like I just bought a thermal optic. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. I already got 2 gigs lined up. I'm taking coyotes and I'm taking gophers with it. It's going to start paying for itself before I even get the first weekend under its belt. And I got my hush puppy. Like I'm dipped in. I flip guns for that stuff. I would rather have 2 ARs decked out 100% the way I need them than have 5 ARs. Just saying. I'd rather have 2 BCM ARs decked fully out, perfect, than 6 PSAs. Just saying. I would. I don't need 5. I can't carry 5. What's the point?
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, and if you have people in your mag that are doing similar things, you don't need that many. You don't need to arm the whole town. That's not your job. If you're still arming the whole town, you're in the way wrong spot for SHTF, because that town's about to have a problem if they're tapping civilian stock. You know what I mean? Bad place to be. Don't be there. All right. Level 4, you are 100% self-sustaining. You're basically an Amish thing. You have a bunker. You are the 1%. You are just as good as Jeff Bezos. If things go off, you're just as good as Elon Musk. If things go off, you're going to come out in 20 years when everything's still glowing, be like, oh, everything's still glowing, and go back down for 10 years. You're good. You got drones. You have a security team. You have everything. You have birthing people. You have a freaking hospital with you. You need no input. You're 100% self-sustaining. I only think the elite of the world can ever hit the number 4. You got trees growing underground. You got fields growing underground. You got a farm. You got old McDonald chilling out underground. You're good. You need nothing. And while everybody's wasting their ammo up top for the first however many freaking years, you're going to come up with the pallets of ammo that you had and then put everybody down, and all they got left is their bolt action 1022, and you're up here rocking your full battle rattle 556. So that's where it's at. Quite frank, I didn't go that far into it because I don't think it's a level anybody that hears my voice on the internet will ever attain. I know I'm not going to obtain it.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. Work related stuff.
You good? Go back and listen to this, man. We had a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add to that? Or? No. Okay. Let's run through these comments real quick since people were nice enough to drop them in here. I have some links dropping in here, guys.
From the beginning.
Yeah, I'm going to start from the beginning.
Oh, I thought you already went through these.
No, just a few. Feed Dog was the first one in with the yo. Randy Butternubs close second. How many minutes? 2 minutes apart. Woo, Fiend Dog had it by a landslide. Coolfoot hopping in here. Space Woof. Hunanimous was here. Thank you, Hunanimous. Lawfully Armed is in the panel. I got a chat bot, guys. So this is not me willingly doing this stuff, but I forget a lot, so this is helpful. A good tool. I would appreciate it if you hit like, share, and sub. And I kept this PG because we had new listeners that are on the fence about starting to prep. And if we could get them to level 1, I'd like everybody here to hit level 1 in a month. And I don't think any regret would be had. Just saying. Daniel, whoa now. How young are you? You're younger than me, Daniel. I think you're 29. Dwayne, sup? Where's yours? Where's your what? Pizza. Old man Butt Wrinkles dropping the pizza, making me hungry. I can't be having that. Yeah, we're not John Wick. We're Tim Walt. I don't know the reference, but I'm sure
I was just thinking getting some birria pizza. I'm like,
Now, should you do that or should you stock rice? I mean, you don't got to give up 100% of your life, but spend your money wisely, sir.
Well, yeah, and I ain't that.
Maybe you hit that
Not
bowl
even
of
that.
ramen noodles tonight and you spend $10 at the dollar store tomorrow.
Well, not that. I'm lactose, technically. I got lactose, so it's just gonna go right through me.
Yeah, see, that pizza plus the lactose intolerant pills are way out of the price range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't be dropping no hard R's. Salutations, fellow ugly bags of water. I don't watch Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars guy. I'm sorry, bearded potato.
You. That's what's
Don't
up.
unsub to me because of that. What's up, gents? I am trying to get to 500 subs, guys. So if you could share this to people, like I think this, especially since we kept it PG for the most part, this would be a good chat to share amongst people that are trying to dip a toe into the water to see if it's for them or not. And at the end of the day, this is a very large hobby because you have a lot of skill sets to learn. So, people with ADD, jack of all trades people that become mechanically inclined, electrically inclined, things like that. A lot of these things they're going to take off to very well as far as, redneck building construction, some plumbing, some electrical, some generator work, some, maybe drones, maybe comms guy, maybe you got your armor, the gun guy. Find your niche out of the 10 things that you start, and you might be able to cross train over with 10 things, or, hey, this guy's sick, or, hey, this guy cut his foot, he's out for a week. Well, I can run the chainsaw because I know how to run the chainsaw and take care of it and change the bar oil or change the chain and tighten it all up. And nobody else might know that.
I was gonna say the cook is also important too.
Yeah, or yeah, dude, a cook for sure, dude. You want that fat lady cooking for you? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, experience to be had. I've never met a grandma that's a real bad cook. That's what I'm saying. They got a lot of years of practice under the belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, level 4, you're talking chainsaws, you probably could add in more hand tools.
Yeah. I actually, you know what? I didn't even go through any of this. Man, I have like 10 things I wrote down at work I didn't even talk about. God, I'm dumb.
That's why you got a panel. Bounce things around.
I think in a basic get home kit, you should have some sort of folding saw, a blade. You could go as cheap as just wrapping duct tape around a Sawzall blade to having, I use a bone saw because it also cuts through wood just fine. Or you could get all the way up to old Canadian Preppers silky saws. He might be a douchebag, but his saws are awesome. So I can't say anything about that. You know what I mean? You got fire starters, whether it's the basic level of just matches to a bic to a ferro rod. I think anything past that, you're having a wet dream. Fire starters don't need to be too crazy. I think you need to have a fixed blade knife, whatever flavor that may be, where the cheaper end being a Mora to my standard go-to is the Gerber from Wally World / any sporting goods store for 50 to 80 muffins roughly, or the Cold Steel one for like $39. I think it's very comparable to really expensive, whatever your flavor. If you want a Benchmade fixed blade, if you have the funds, by all means, enjoy yourself. I think everybody should have a multi-tool, whatever flavor that may come to you as. Everybody should have some sort of nesting cup and a cooking pot. You should have food, rice, granola bars, oatmeal, instant mashed potatoes, instant noodles, soups, mac and cheese, meat, whatever flavor you like, tuna, chicken, pulled pork, whatever you want to carry with you. You should have a water filter, whatever you decide. TP / hygiene-ish kit in case you might have to stay the night somewhere for a day to get to your house. Luxuries, pain meds, bug spray, maybe a light, caffeine energy drink bump. You should probably also have some cordage and a little bit of duct tape to redneck a shelter, maybe a tarp. I think that should be in every standard get home kit. Anything to add, gentlemen?
By level 4, you probably ought to be considering.
Well, this
shit, my bad.
This ain't on.
I thought I was talking.
Sorry. No, you good. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say real quick because I didn't get a chance to really say this one, but
Yeah.
you can get this anywhere, kind of for free, but it's something you can pay for too. But that is those moisture absorbers.
Okay.
That comes in handy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Those little moisture things, those little
Like
packages you
silica
get.
pack of deals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, comes in handy, especially you all live in certain areas, because I don't deal with that type of problem. But like any areas with a lot of humidity and all that other stuff, and put that near like in your ammo boxes or any other types of stuff that could absorb the moisture where it won't ruin stuff that you have.
Oh, I got them in mind. These aren't falling anywhere in. I was kind of trying to remember my list, and I was listening to my list this morning, and I was writing this down off the cuff at work. This just falls into wherever it may fall into, lovely. Clothing, You have a uniform. Do you need milsurp? Not necessarily. Civilian for looking gray man, cool. Redneck camo, whatever it's got to be. A mix, yeah, depending on what level you're at. There is some psychological warfare to having everybody running the same kit. Really adds to the psychological warfare, I guess.
I mean, I technically have a Cold War Germans uniform, so that really would throw off somebody.
We'll go buy them all up, son.
But it's actually useful for like areas in the cold.
But yeah, it's also team building, just like whatever sports ball team you watch. They all have a team uniform. It helps build a brotherhood behind that. That becomes a rallying point. It's a good morale boost as well, especially if you come against a ragtag bunch that are wearing hoodies and t-shirts and flannels and whatever. They'll feel inferior.
In the fray, it also helps you identify friend or foe at a glance.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
That's a very good point. Thank you, lawfully. But you can have a mix of that. Just make sure you know what everybody's got on. Your footwear, your boots, your running shoes, your cowboy boots. Whatever you need, whatever you got, whatever you like. Have a brand new pair sitting in the closet waiting for that one to crap out, to bust out, to rip a hole in it, whatever. Your socks, you should have summer socks and winter socks. That goes for all clothing. You don't want to wear your heavy wool socks in the middle of a 102-degree day. You're going to just melt, right? You got like moisture wicking socks or like one of those frog tog like neck gaiter deals that you can cool to help cool you down so you don't get like heat exhaustion and stuff like that. 100%. Or a mosquito net maybe for your face.
Also, I was going to say a couple things else you should have too is, you and whoever should have like certain code names and call signs and stuff. And you should definitely have a piece of paper, markers and pens. You'd be surprised how often you might need to write something or get something down that might come in handy.
I agree. And that comes into your SOP for whatever you guys decide how to operate and do call outs in your group. And something to be said for a not so common language, maybe, German or Slovakian, something like that. You might have great grandma that can teach everybody that stuff. And you can also teach your dogs, much like in the book, Dutch or German, things like that. Even canine handlers know those basic controls, and you can also use it for left, right, stop, and other people that may be able to listen on your comms if you don't have your comms as squared away as somebody might be. And you have a rotation schedule, just like every day your locations change up, or maybe every week you have an alternate call sign or something, just so nobody can sit there and write down what they hear for a month and know how to work your comms against you. You know what I mean? Yeah, all kinds of stuff you can do. And that's up to you guys and your code list and your code breaker and however much free time you guys want to put into it. Saudi Arabia today got rid of the US dollar for their oil. Yeah, that's a problem. Note, it's all circumstantial. Oh, yeah. Let me get down this. Your pants, shirts, underwear. I think you should have a couple new ones sitting around for everything that you like and it's really comfortable. Jackets, coats, you get a couple extra. Like I have a video. I got a battery-powered Milwaukee coat that R found on sale, and I bought 5 of them. Thank you, R. You're a good chap. And that's going to be really good for the winter because we need them around here. And cooling neck gaiters, maybe a big straw hat, things like that. Things to help keep you cool if it's going to be hot where you're at. Bug clothing, if you need clothing to keep ticks off of you, or maybe you need to sleep in like a mosquito net like they do in Africa at night to keep everything off you. Might not be a bad thing. If you go camping for a weekend, very minimalist, you will see the luxuries that you wish you had that weekend and then go buy them all and go next month or whatever when it's hotter and test it all out. And then you'll see the next gaps in what you have. Then you'll see the next gaps. And that's going to better you because what is that? It's experience and knowledge. You can only gain that by doing. You should do that now while we're playing on easy mode, not on hard mode when your life depends on it, or your kid's wife depends on it, or your wife, or your grandma, or your mom. You don't want to put somebody's life in danger because you were too lazy to go put this stuff into action now. Repair kits for clothing, sewing kits, patches, the non-swing patches. You could heat up a pan over a fire and patch something. You need to set up some sort of standard SOP, your codes, whatever you guys like, in your everyday life. Rotate everything you got. Hygiene. It's a super slept-on thing that I wanted to get into more. You should have extra toothpaste, toothbrushes. They're too cheap not to have extra, guys. Mouthwash, I think for stage 1. Oh, yeah, I was going to add this up. Stage 1, I think, maybe 1 to 2 bottles would be sufficient. One you're working on in a backup. I think I kind of mentioned that. Stage 2, you got 1 to 6 bottles you're rotating through. Stage 3, you got 10 plus. You got your floss, your toothpicks, your Orajel, maybe if you got a bad tooth or things like that. Get your dental work taken care of now. And a good one, you have tooth repair kits. Because what happens if you're walking around and, you accidentally step on that rake and you crack your front tooth? Oh, mamacita, is that going to be a problem in SHTF? You are not going to like your day, homie. You are not going to like your week, homie. And then if that leads to infection, that's even bigger strain on your resources. Can you click these? Can you go down this and just click these so people get a chance to read these comments since you're just dinking around on your phone?
Yeah.
Thanks. Anytime you guys have an idea this pops in your head, this is to spark extra ideas for other people. Have at it.
One thing I wanted to add to the stages where you potentially have fishing ponds on a property or whatever. Neighbors of mine, a couple years back now, had a kill off because they were stupid and turned off the aerator one night, and the temperature dropped about 30 degrees and sucked all the air out of the fish pond. So, yeah, you should always have some way to aerate the water just in case.
Yeah, you can do that naturally as well with duckweed and certain friendly plants and things like that. So you can make an ecosystem to do it without technology as well. But yeah, you have to learn that. That's the problem. You got to do it now. That's a very good point. Thank you, Ohio. Your shampoo, your soap, your dandruff shampoo, if you need that in the winter. If you need moisturizing soap, I touched on that, like Dove for winter and the thing like that. For hygiene, you should probably have a solar shower in stage 1 because you can go to Walmart and get one for under 15 muffins. Off-grid showering, they have solar stuff that actually heats your water temperature up. I have it in my Amazon store. I'm thinking about getting one for review. It heats it up like 40 degrees, and that's pretty sweet because that would be awesome. And shit hits the fan. If you didn't have a hot shower for a month, what would somebody swap just to have a hot shower that they were guarded and knew they weren't going to be robbed/raped? What would somebody trade to have that little bit of normality back? Just saying. And that would be free. That's just water that you get out of your rain catchment in the sun. You could trade that. Just like charging people's batteries with your generator. That's free. You could turn that into a job. A trade item that takes no output from you. Only your inputs you already have going anyway. You should also have a camper cabin. Being able to wash your clothes, whether it's agitating them in a 5-gallon bucket. You should look at that now. You should have enough towels for everybody. Body scrubbers, those actually wear out. You throw one away every couple of years. A scrub brush, you put the soap on the back of whatever. That stuff has an indefinite use shelf life, and eventually it will fail. So having an extra of one that you like might not be a bad thing. Maybe do that instead of go buy the newest video game. You don't need that. Or when you're like, oh man, I'm going to go rent 14 movies, or I'm going to pay for 14 or 4 different Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and HBO Max. Why don't you cut all those or watch one and then watch YouTube and learn something that can actually better you. And you're going to save more money in the long run anyway. Don't be stupid with your money. It's already a rough enough economy.
I'll add this real quick. I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably all talked about that one. Also, it helps to get fit. So
100%. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, go to the gym, or if you need to buy some little, weights here and there and do other types of things. And not just weightlifting too.
Yeah.
Certain physical activities work, even some work for your benefit the more you realize. Yoga being one of them. But Yeah, because you're given what the times you're going to be dealing with. If, if you ain't fit, it's going to be real hard for you to survive.
I'm the fattest fit guy on YouTube, dude. I've been preaching getting fit. I've lost almost 75 pounds in about a year and 8 months. Like, it's slow cutting weight. I hit almost 4 bills, dude. Like, it's helping my body a lot. And I'm having a lot more fun running around with my little kid. So, that's your number one prep is your body.
Yep.
Body, mind, soul, then everything else afterwards is tertiary. You have stock of your pain creams, your arthritis stuff. If you have specialized prescriptions like that, if you have rash stuff, if you have whatever you may be to stock up that kind of stuff, icy hot, antifungal stuff, working hands for your feet. We went over that. Chapstick. Chapstick is a huge one. Everybody I knew when we were sending soldier boxes overseas when they were in the sand, they love chapstick, dude.
Vaseline, that helps too.
Yeah, all that stuff, dude. You got extra nail clippers. You got scissors for trimming your face. You got nail files, things like that. You got hair ties. You got that stuff stacked. That's normal stuff you use in your family. Whatever you guys use for the year, you should have that stocked, right?
I mean, this one could be a good stocking item, maybe a good trading item, but something you don't think about. Yep. Hey, so you'd be surprised. Condoms, they might come in handy.
Nope. Condoms, birth control. If you read 1 second after, it's in my free audiobooks. That was a thing the guy wished he had. Yep. Birth control. He wished he had that. He wished he had an extra 20-pound bag of rice. I got a video coming. I went to Walmart. I'm telling you guys, every time I go to Walmart, I grab a 20-pound bag of rice. Every time I go to Sam's, I grab a 50-pound bag of rice. Why? It's the cheapest thing to feed you can buy.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you freeze it right away when you get it?
When I get it, I freeze it for 3 days to kill any larvae, and then I buff it.
Okay. So, yeah, you say 3 days.
Okay. Yeah, some people say 2, but why not have it in there an extra day? Why not chance it if you were going to put it back? If it's going to go right into rotation for your eating, I wouldn't say you need to. Like if you buy a 5-pound or a 1-pound bag, you don't necessarily need to do that. 20 pounds plus, freeze it for 3 days, then do what you're going to do for long-term storage.
Have you tried any diatomaceous earth?
I have not. I just do the oxygen absorbers. And the diatomaceous earth could be cheaper. I don't know. I just did the tried and true oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid.
So, I need to check out more for that type of stuff.
There's hundreds and hundreds of videos on it, and I am going to do some. I had 2 videos before this chat. I just got a tripod thing that I can do with a remote, and I can use it as a selfie stick, so I can take you guys with me on walks if I see something I want to talk about or whatever. But Old Tactical Muffin Top's upping his production value here, so I can do, maybe a healthier alternative with the budget in mind for like prepping meal cooking. I'm going to show you guys. A lot of people have asked me, one of my favorite meals to stock is mackerel and rice, and I'm going to cook it for you guys one day just live, and we can BS and stuff while I'm cooking it, and then I'm going to eat it. But I ain't going to do that on camera because nobody needs to see this ugly dude eat food.
Just a close-up of just your mouth.
Yeah, see, we don't need all those suction noises, is what I'm saying.
The diatomaceous earth has another use. You can sprinkle it around to get rid of household insects.
Yep.
Gets rid of silverfish, ants, roaches, bed bugs, earwigs.
Yep.
What dries out the
earth could be a good stock. I do know people that use it for their gardens to keep away things out of their garden as well.
Use what?
That diatomaceous earth that Waffly's talking about.
What is that?
It's basically silica powder.
Oh.
Yep. Dries
out the insects and their larvae, but it's virtually non-toxic to invertebrates.
Love it. All this stuff that we're stacking, you have a community count that's relatable for your community. Your state, I would like to have the whole 16 people that are still watching that actually give a crap about this chat. Drop your state in here every once in a while, guys. If we can get a little bit of networking going off of my tiny channel to help anybody out, get further. How much better it would be to get to level 2 or 3 if you had somebody already in the right mindset doing the jack of all trades things you're currently doing, and then you can work with each other, go camping, see if you work together or not. And if you don't, you don't. If you do, you click. Perfect. I'm glad for everybody, and you guys can further each other. You know what I mean? That's free. Networking is free. Just trying to help somebody like this chat's doing, like we did this deep dive. If we have 16 people watching right now, if 16 brand new people started prepping Monday, my job's done. I helped somebody, and that's going to help whomever family they have, whatever. And they're not going to be a werewolf prepper. They're not going to be a problem. They will be an asset. And I'd much rather have more assets running around than idiots with a 12 gauge just going door to door stealing everybody's stuff. Just saying. Because I can tell you right now, that is not a very long lifespan occupation. That is. Go ahead.
Something we left off tonight. We've discussed it before, but you would think it'd be a no-brainer, but it's worth going back and specifically enumerating. But for expecting and new parents, formula, baby food, diapers,
yeah. We had our
baby wipes. Go ahead and be ahead on baby wipes.
Yeah, baby water. That was also down when you couldn't find water. We had the shortage issue during COVID, and our son was on this really special formula that nobody had in stock. And when I found some a state away, I went and got a pallet of it because there was none left in my entire state. So I went and got it so my son could eat in his infancy.
We had that discussion before, because remember I told you I had to do stuff with my sister.
Yeah.
Right when the pandemic happened, but we always grew up, grabbing stuff, so we already had that suited up for her when it came to the formula thing.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
During that time.
Kids come first in every one of this, so don't take from your kid's mouth to get an extra box of ammo, because I will punch you in the face myself if I hear that. You have your tools, gardening tools. You have multiples of shovels, pickaxes, saws, scythes, push mowers, because you're not going to waste your gas in a gas mower anymore. But there's fire capability, keeping your things down, and pest control, things like that. And you can buy those now. They're like retro coming back because everybody wants to go green. Buy a push mower. They're like $80 brand new. Like, why not? Rakes, hose, snow shovels if you're in that type of environment, wheelbarrows, hammers, nails, bolts and washers that you can put in by hand that you don't necessarily need a drill for, but if you have a drill, obviously it's much easier to accomplish these things. And hand drills, old school hand drills, old school woodworking tools, chisels, stuff like that. You can get a lot of that crap at Harbor Freight now. So I might be doing some Harbor Freight. If I hit 500 subs, I'm going to do like a monthly chat where I do a Cash App, and I want to build a Harbor Freight solar system for people that can't afford to go out and drop the money on it or don't want to put it on a credit card, and show people that you can do it for cheap. And you can add a huge capability to your group, to your house. Plus, you can save some money, because if you start, running some things like that, or you run a freezer and a couple fans in the summer, you run a heated blanket to keep your heat cost down, in the winter, stuff like that, it's going to start paying you back. So I'm going to try and do that. We hit to 500 subs, guys. I would love that. If I get to 100 people on Rumble, I'm going to start simul streaming to Rumble. So definitely check out my Rumble too. It's in the chat. I'm gonna head out. Peace out, R. Thanks for swinging by.
Yeah.
Thanks for your 2 sentences of input. You're welcome. And scrolling with your mouse.
Thank you, R.
Lawfully said thank you. R's got to get up early. He's working on a big project at work.
I take it he's in your area. In the background.
Yeah, you know how we were talking about, if there's that one guy you've been hunting with or whatever, or was that on a different chat? I don't know. R's that guy for me. R's one of my best friends. I actually started R prepping, and now he's an asset, not a marauder. But yeah. Stage 2 to 3, I think if you started implementing like campers, ATVs, maybe a camp shower location / composting shower / toilet, you have a camp cook set, cast iron, you maybe have like a grill grate that you can cook everything on to live a little bit more old school, or you have one of those 3-way things, the 3-pull thing that holds up your pod over the fire, whatever, you got that going on 24/7, boiling water, stuff like that. ATV, you got solar/generator setups, maybe some solar electric fence stuff for perimeter protection. You have some perimeter protection involved there with like maybe some trip alarms, things like that, trail cams. You got some LPOP, some listening and observation posts, and you got SOPs on how to handle that. Maybe you got some drone work in there. You got some heat, nighttime capability involved in there. You have multiple heating sources, wood, propane, natural gas, etc., and you're stocked for you, whatever works best in your location. Like Night Strike was saying, he has an old tractor that runs a generator. Then you just have to keep fueling the tractor to run it, right? And it runs his whole house. That's super cool. You might be implementing buildings in this location. This could be a brand new, maybe you all pooled your money together and bought 5 acres and you're just starting out, you know. You could be putting up buildings, sheds, a pole barn, things like that, to protect your assets and park in and help weatherproof things. You got a couple cast iron cook sets. You got everything you need to take care of said cast iron. You know how to season it. You know how to keep it clean correctly. You're not leaving it out in the rain and letting it rust all high heaven, because that's a sin. That poor cast iron did nothing to you except be reliable. Don't do that. I think if you're in base level 1, you should also have a luggable loo, which I use all the time on our boat. When you got to go, you got to go. And I think composting toilet is a very slept on thing. I actually have one that has like a little sink, like if you'd have in like a Porta-John. You might buy a Porta-John used. You can find those. Yeah, they might sound gross, but I actually know somebody who uses one for a deer blind, and it's awesome. Don't be afraid to redneck stuff outside the box. You have multiple lockers, cabinets, gun safes, carrying cases for all your guns. You have your summer, fall, winter gear, your pews. You got spray paint cans. We touched on that. Your shotgun, you got a sling. You got extra things to keep shells on the gun. You got a fiber optic sight. If it's a home defense style, you have a light. If it's more for hunting or whatever, you got different chokes for different seasons. Maybe some camo wrap to change up for the hunting seasons. For your bolt gun, you got your scopes and your sling at minimum dialed in. Backup batteries for said optic if they're needed. You got a bipod or tripod or a shooting stick, whatever works better for your environment. You got a rangefinder because you're not a shooter. You don't have a guy reading the range for you. You have a rangefinder around your neck or in your pocket that you use yourself. You are your spotter. You got mags if it takes mags. You found a round that you like and it works and it takes the game you want to take, and you stack it. So don't just buy any random box and shoot it, because it's going to change your zero and stuff on your gun, especially at range. Grain, all kinds of things like that have factors in there. Find a grain, find a bullet you like, and stack that bullet.
Yes.
Your AR, AK, you got your mag, sling, optics, dots, irons, LPVOs, scopes, whatever your flavor, whatever your attachments you have to have. They're all squared away. They're all Loctited on. They're all strapped on with the backup straps. They're all tied on. They're all rattle canned, whatever you need to do. They're all backup batteries, rechargeable capabilities. That's all set. That's all hopefully conform to the same. Maybe you got 4 LPVOs, you got 4 ACOGs, you got 4 dots, you got 4 sets of irons, and everybody who's going to touch that gun knows how to run it. And you run malfunction with snap caps and things like that. You run drills where you take your dominant shooting hand, you duct tape a tennis ball in your glove, and you run a wounded hand drill where you have to use your opposite hand to keep all that around. You got backup parts, you have cleaning kits, you have oil, you have stuff to clean your glass, you have multiple ways to zero your optics. You got paper to shoot, you got a shooting bench maybe that you can redneck make a shooting bench. You got all of your gunsmithing tools. If you got a guy who's in the gunsmithing stuff, he is fully equipped, ready to rock. Yeah, here we go. Zora's got it. Right here, extra parts laying around, extra BCGs. Okay, yeah. At this point, you got a guy, level 2 to 3-ish you got a guy who can run and fix all the. He's your armorer, okay, and you got all the parts he needs to keep that gun running for years. Except homesteading. Is he over here? He ain't in the chat.
He's in the comments.
I live in Atlantis. I'm from Asengard. Shut up, Corey. Nice.
School of the American Rifle, Chad over there that runs that. He's got his own recipe for AR lube.
Yeah.
He calls it Sotaracha. He uses a Sriracha bottle.
I love sriracha. I just got a thing today. Nice.
He's got a couple of videos explaining that. And he builds it up in various viscosities. He's got kind of his general purpose viscosity.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got some that's a little tackier. That's a great way to have a bunch of lube for cheap.
Let me send an invite to Corey.
Well, another thing is like a big bolt thing that people don't really think about, and it's motor oil. Because same type of shit.
Yeah.
Car
WD-40.
That's what-
good stuff.
That's what. No, don't use WD-40 on guns because it's a rust inhibitor. It's not a lubricant. It'll peel the blue off your guns, and it dries out and gets gummy.
See, I don't know everything.
I mean, it's better than spit, but it's not lube.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, compared to our typical chats, this was the most PG chat I've ever heard in my entire life. So thank you guys for going with that. And we're going to have a really gross chat next time to catch up on it all. Just kidding. It don't have to be crazy. I don't know. What do you guys think? You got anything to add to that stuff?
I think you hit on a good point, having lube and maintenance parts and stuff. And like I said on the last chat, like long term, I would be gutting every spare gun I found just to deny function to other people that might come across, because you can't pump everything you come across back, but I can gut it. I can yank a bolt carrier group, shoot a Rudy it, like that guy that was working private security that ended up in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Cop car broke in, so they are.
Yeah, weapon snatcher.
You can yank bolts out of guns.
Yep. Drop mags, check them, and take the bolt carrier with you. Sure can.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Well, guys, I gotta say, this is
You'll be able to
pretty good chat.
be able to scavenge some of those force multipliers, like the higher quality optics and that sort of stuff long term. Probably nicer guns too, but I mean, obviously you've got to square away what you've got to begin with, but you're going to come across those force multipliers, better weapon lights. I know you're big on the O-light stuff, but my concern from a longevity standpoint is what happens when those internal batteries stop taking a charge. Like thoroughly for a longevity thing, I'm still on replaceable batteries, 123As or.
Yeah, I understand. Most of the ones that I have removable batteries, and I do have that same issue. Although I do think that pistol light that's really slim they have is freaking sweet, though. But it's only internal battery. I think for rifle, I think if you're a super awesome tactical guy who uses it every day, I do a Streamlight minimum. But I think if you're not, honestly, nobody here is. Half the time, I'd say 90% of that gun's life it sits in the safe or something. And O-light's fine. I ain't gonna act like I'm a high-speed operator. I'm being realistic.
When every day right now, this side of the what if, it's fine. I just, for longevity's sake, it's such a known quantity, Streamlight and Surefire and whatnot. And that answer a question you had earlier on, Ohio, what light and where and whatnot. If you've got a flat top rail, even if you've got backup irons, you can run a Streamlight TLR1. If you could only afford one quality light, you could buy a TLR1 and go back and forth between long gun and pistol with it.
Yeah, that's the light I carry every day for my ADC. That's the light I bet my life on. That's the light that a lot of military and cops bet their life on. That's the best pistol light. That's why I have
Get your Streamlight TLR1 HL. Just the standard one. You don't even have to get the long gun kit.
Yep.
And with the Glock key in it, it will still tighten down with a coin tight enough to stay in place on like a Picatinny rail.
Yes,
So you
sir.
mount at 12 o'clock, converted from what it would be on the pistol. Won't impede your sight plane, and you can flip it from either side.
I'm curious if I may ask, what's the lumens on that one?
800.
Okay.
Or is it
1,000 now.
1,000?
They updated
Yeah,
it
that is
a couple
1,000.
years ago.
Yep. Which then you get into a lumen case. You really don't need 1,000 lumens inside of a house typically, but if you're going outside, it gives you enough throw. 500 in a house is
But
adequate.
it's only like $20 more than the non-TLR, than the non-HL. So I mean, just by default, like I say, if you're gonna have one light, you go back and forth. But you're right, it's a lot inside of a house, especially white walls.
Yeah.
Get a lot of light splash.
Oh, I got
Stupid light.
I got some crazy lights. It ain't that bad really on the.
Yeah, and if you
You
guys
know.
don't know what that is, turn off your lights and walk through your house with all your flashlights. You think you're going to run EDC or SHTF? You'll find the ones that are too bright to run in your house, and just use those for outside. It's that simple.
Well, yeah,
That take
because
10 seconds.
where I live at is a little more closed in space and you got white walls. It actually ain't that bad. I mean, you have to get something very, very light, right? But I care more about the outside than inside.
Right.
Because
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a
you can
free
see in the
prep that
dark
ain't
because I
going to
did
cost
some
nobody.
training.
Yeah, it ain't going
Yeah, 'cause I
cost
did some-
nobody. Nothing.
Yeah, I did some trading out in the desert and it was like pretty much pitch black dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a problem with my light, but I ended up finding out that my light had too much, excess, carbon all up in the lens, and it took me a while to clean all that off. But I actually
Burt's
found a solution.
Bees chapstick. If you put it on there before you get the carbon buildup, it'll wipe right off.
Funny thing. That's one of the things too. That's good as a layer of protection. But when I found out how to clean it, I just looked up a Google search. Like, oh, just put some vinegar on the lens. I was like, and that shit rubbed right off.
There you go.
Just put that with a little bit of rubbing. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And my light was like super bright back again.
Yep. Corey getting some love, even though he's denied a couple links. That's okay. OLED, I do like OLED. I got no problem with OLED. Yeah, Enforce makes decent stuff. They actually have a new handheld that's coming out this year. I kind of want to check out. 10,000 lumen light. You're gonna die, Corey. You're gonna be fucking blind.
I only have one OLED.
Yeah, I've had several lights for years, and they're doing fine. But yeah, I understand. That's a very valid point, and I can't disagree with it either, lawfully. So, on that note, I think that I'd like to drop in everybody's opinion on the most realistic of these things to happen, and I think the economic/civil war thing would be spun into the same thing here domestically, but I think our number one threat indicator is going to be a domestic terror attack, whether that be starting electronically or in conjunction with physical attacks. And it can only take a group of 3 guys and a small cell of 3 guys in every single state. Mass chaos. The country would be locked down. It wouldn't even have to be every state. 10 states.
Well, and to clarify, when people are seeing headlines on the news, when they're talking about domestic terror, that doesn't mean necessarily an American citizen. That just means an attack to the country inside of the country.
Mm-hmm.
It could be foreign actors inside our borders. They're very porous borders.
And we all already know we got plenty of them who just came in this last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
It's a numbers game. There's got to be a bad egg in there somewhere. Same.
China.
Yeah. Give it more than a 90% chance nothing major happens in the foreseeable. I hope so. I pray to God, Daniel, and I see your orange, so you're in your Tesla. I hope for you and your Tesla's sake you be good. And everything I'm saying is just to beat inflationary prices and everybody just saves money in the long run. Boy, that would be the nicest part of prepping right now is if it just saves somebody money. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, nobody's telling you to go bet the farm on anything. Just be ahead. Forego that vacation or that.
Yeah. Don't buy that PS5. Don't buy that new PC. Whatever you got's good enough. Don't buy that extra AR. Jesus, if you got 2 or 3, or you got more than 4 ARs in your one person/one family, you got too many. Like I said, if you're with a group, and every family in the group's doing the same exact prep, and you guys are on the same page, and you're all working towards the same goal and marking the same checks in the same boxes, you don't need to stock 100 guns for 100 people because they're stocking their own crap. Okay, you're not the armorer. You don't need. You're not the. You don't have the logistics to do that. Okay, we're all normal people. We're not the government with unlimited funds. We're not getting all the crap that Ukraine's getting. Okay, we're normal people that go to bed, they wake up, they do their hours at work, they come back, they live out their measly little few hours they get to enjoy themselves, and we get up and do it again. Unfortunately, until we die, probably, because I don't think I'll ever see retirement, because I don't even know if everybody in this chat, I don't think you guys will see it, honestly. I think maybe my grandpa might see part of his, but I think it's gone after that. Honestly, it ain't. We're not going to be able to retire by design.
So I do want to mention something about cyber attacks. They're already happening. Last Saturday or Sunday, Cleveland City Hall in Cleveland, Ohio got hit with one, and they're basically not admitting they're going to pay the ransom off it, but they are. They're paying the ransom over right now.
Yeah.
They've been happening.
Because they get this stuff unlocked themselves because they have no infrastructure to do that right now.
Yes, sir. And that sheriff in Ohio, you guys need to look up, if you guys are especially new people, that video of that sheriff telling him what the FBI, well, he couldn't even tell us what the FBI told him, but a conference with all the sheriffs, and he came home and flat said, we are loading up everybody we got with an AR in their vehicle with a go bag full of mags and food. And he told everybody to go prep food and stuff because he said, we will be attacked by a T group. Okay? That means the FBI already knows they're tracking this stuff. They just told all the sheriffs, come home. They're trying to get training. They're trying to help everybody out. You need to listen to The Day of Wrath in my free audiobooks, because that would be probably the most likely-ish scenario without them taking out power stations / wastewater, which is already being hacked, which I just seen something today about a power station was shot, and I don't even remember where that was, but after all the oil leaked out of the transformers, they overheated, boom, power station down, power supply loss.
Yeah, it doesn't help that I'm right next to a freaking power station, like literally just less than a couple feet away in downtown LA.
And every sector of our infrastructure now operates on such a finite, like hand-to-mouth supply chain that they don't keep any of that handy, like spare. All those transformers.
Delivery.
Yeah, that's the term.
So I dare say,
even your Walmart stores, like they don't keep any backstock in the back room anymore.
Yep.
Like it's truck to shelf every day.
Yep.
That's why there's no one there to give a flip to help you look for something when you can't find it.
They're unloading it off the truck and putting it on the shelf.
By the way, I meant to say that earlier for the prep stuff. If you know where a supply warehouse is, it's probably a good idea to know that stuff right now, just in case.
I'll let you know you're not the first person who's thought about it. You're also not the first person who thought they're going to go hang out in a Walmart with 3 guys, 3 rednecks, or go to a Cabela's. I guarantee you that plan is not going to work out well for you.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying, just in general, like know where the actual backstock is.
Yeah. I don't know if you what's the guy? Man, he's a trucker. He's actually a pretty deep thinker. He's a soldier. Sometimes he's on with the Beaverines, John. Warlord TV. He's a trucker. He said him and his guys are literally taking 6 big rigs to this truck, this thing, and they have enough people. They're bringing like 40 guys, and they're going to clean it out for their group.
Mm-hmm.
Do you got 6 people that know how to drive a semi and 40 guys that are armed? No? Good, because the truck drivers probably know enough people they can do that.
Oh yeah, I used to work with truckers, so
Yeah.
And yeah, you try driving those trucks too. You don't know what you're doing.
If there is some sort of attack that is a partial takedown, you will see truckers armed overnight.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I know who's a trucker is already packing.
Well,
They're not idiots.
I know, but I'm talking like two driver, like bank truck light. Like
Yeah.
there'll be a guy riding shotgun in every semi truck.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if the dollar doesn't collapse beforehand. The day that money's no good, people will stop showing up to work.
So sell ammo, sell silver, buy ammo. I have a mix of both. I don't think you need to sell any of that stuff right now. Sell your PS5, sell your extra TVs, sell your collectibles. If you got freaking amiibos and statues and Star Wars, I mean, Matt's not going to want to hear this, but if I was Matt, I'd sell all of his action figures and put it into long-term food storage and a generator. Sell all the crap you haven't touched in a year because you probably don't need it. Buy stuff you're actually going to need.
And we're in a narrow window.
Would you sell now? I wouldn't sell my silver just yet. Twas a question. Yeah. Both. I wouldn't buy into silver now. I bought my silver a long time ago, way under $20. Silver, I believe it's a very real possibility. It can be. Hence my Discord pick. Yeah, we're not doing Discord tonight. I'm sorry, Dwayne. We're already 2.5 hours in. On this rate, I'm gonna definitely have to pay for StreamYard because I've already hit half my month's thing, and the month's not even halfway over yet. Yeah, Randy Butternut. I'd say both. You gotta have a healthy mix of both because covering all the angles you can, not a bad thing. Just saying. Daniel has his opinion on it. You can dump now while it's gaining and buy when it's low again, just like a stock investor if you want to keep up on it. But I bought mine and it's going to be my kids when I'm dead. So whatever it's valued at then, good for him. You know what I mean?
If I had crypto, I would get out of at least more than half of it and turn it into tangible assets.
I did drop my crypto and I bought a suppressor and thermal with it. So
cool.
I
don't have crypto, but
I'm 100% out of crypto. I made roughly, to the ATF agent listing, I made almost $4,000 on 1,200. So it was good enough. It wasn't super duper crazy. I should have sold it way back when I was up almost $12,000 and it dipped way back down, and I kicked myself every day. But I was a small fish playing in a big pond, and at least I didn't lose it. So,
Lucky.
Mm-hmm. Yep, paid off some bills and bought a hush puppy and thermal. So now was the time. I decided to liquidate it because I would rather have those two assets, physical assets, here in my hands for if SHGF happens than have theoretical money doing theoretically whatever it wants. And that's the way I looked at it, and I pulled the trigger on it, and it's treated me well ever since because I enjoy those things. Well, I don't know about the thermal yet. I'm supposed to get that tomorrow, but well, guys, I got to get up and work tomorrow. We got anything else we want to talk about? This is a very long tactical muffin top chat, and I thank everybody for keeping it PG because we are very much trying to reach out and assist everybody we can with our ideas. And I'm sorry I'm very long-winded, kind of like Matt when he gets going, or Honda. Just it's hard to cut the guy off in front of the mic. And you guys can tell me to shut up if you have an idea. I don't care. I prefer.
I do want to mention one thing about fishing preps.
Yeah.
A few packs of hooks and a few things of grubs for like soft plastics and stuff can go a long way. And like a 20-pound or so thing of fishing line can be used as a makeshift if you don't have a rod or anything to put it on.
Oh yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with fishing stuff. 100% agree there.
And that weighs next to nothing, honestly, with what I just mentioned.
100%.
But once again, it don't matter. A car battery and some leads. The old telephone crank.
I like it all. And if you guys do waddle through some of the like old man butt wrinkles, just put A picture in the Discord. That's level 1, and right there, man, a ton of people are at that level. 100%. But he's got some freeze dried stuff mixed in there too. So like, yeah, man. Definitely next Muffin Top Chat Thursday, we will be doing Discord. So hit Discord heavy, guys, so we can have a decent, like, 2 hours long chat without going through the old stuff. I want to thank everybody for being here. If we get, I got 24 people watching. If we get 24 people to share this to virgin preppers and, maybe friends at work or things like that, people at the watering hole, plant this seed in their head because they might become a really good asset for you later. They might be able to fill a gap in your MAG, aka your mutual assistance group that you've been looking to fill for a long time and you didn't know the solution's been right there the whole time. Worst case scenario, you help that family out and they buy an extra week's worth of food. To do that FEMA drop thing that everybody's been saying, Germany's been doing it, Switzerland's been doing it. Everybody needs to have 2 weeks of food, whatever. The UK's been doing it. Print all those out and hand them to people. Like, how come all these countries are saying have at least this on hand, and they buy that on top of what they have at their house right now? Would be better than nothing. I'd rather, if they get 2 weeks extra, that'd be amazing. That'd make me sleep better at night. So, deuces, y'all. Tactical Muffin Top and friends, out for now.